Happy Halloween. We are brought to you by BetUS. Couldn't get my mute button off in time. Everybody's favorite sports bet book. Check them out. Get 125% sign up bonus. I'm all thrown off. Happy Halloween. I'm trying to do a Halloween voice on top of all that and failing badly. It's just been a bad week. And it just shows right now in my performance. So thank all you guys for hanging out with us tonight on another Thursday night. You may also be watching Thursday Night Football. And if you are or are not, but hanging out with us, we appreciate you. We are down to PJ for just a hot minute. He's going to be joining us a little bit late. Paulski is our guest tonight from Bearski Films. He'll be joining us in a bit. I'm not going to lie. I really just kind of put my head in the sand for a hot minute there after this loss. And I'm just curious. Guys, we haven't even talked really about this since. I was worried about you, Foster. PJ's not even here yet. I'm still worried about him. Good to see you have your C going around your head like a horseshoe that's about to strangle you. Is that how you feel right now?
No, because dude, you got to remember how long I've been a Bears fan. To be in the middle of a season back in the day and to be 4-3, we'd be happy. Too many 14-game seasons where we won 4, 5, 6 games at the most. So that loss sucked though. That was total bull crap. That's a load of crap if you ask me, because there was 2 holding calls that they could have called and a tripping play possibly. I'd have to look at that again when he fell. I swore the guy stuck his leg out. If you look at that the very edge of that play before he throws it. I just haven't had.
Let me be the voice of PJ with PJ's absence so far. Shorty, the highs are too high, the lows are too lows. Keep it a glass half filled. If you look at our predictions, I may have gotten the Redskins prediction perfect. We held that offense in check the whole day. 12 legitimate points. So.
It's not about the loss for me as much as how the loss felt.
Exactly.
It felt like a Packers loss. It felt like that moment where we're about to turn the page and we're gonna do this for once and we're gonna beat this team. Normally the Packers, but in this case it's the Redskins with the Redskins. You got me saying it now. What's up, King Buka?
So is our starting quarterback saying it as well.
It's the Commanders with this quarterback who is stealing our quarterback's thunder. That's my first issue with the whole loss. And then from there, it just goes from everything else that happened. Because this, to me, is our moment. This is our time. This is when we should be talking about our quarterback who, by all accounts, everyone should know by now is going to have a better career just with how they both are learning the NFL in a different way. In my opinion, Caleb is learning an entire offense, where I don't think Jaden Daniels is. And I don't know. I really don't have much to say about this loss, so I'm going to rely on you guys really a lot this evening to help to either pull me out of the gutter or keep me in it, because this loss to me just exposes that we have the worst head coach in this division. It makes me worry about this division now, the entire division, and then the rest of the NFL. I mean, how many road wins for this coach? I'm not trying to become it. I know if PJ was here, he would. When he gets here, he will cheer us all up a little bit.
Well,
but you guys, you gotta help me.
Well, Shorty, as my father used to say. No. But here, wait, look at. So I've been watching this shit for a long time. You guys, I say it every damn week. So when was the last time that you saw a game the Bears played in where they fucked it all up? I blew us already. They fucked it all up early in the game, throughout the game, still had a chance to win the game, but could never make those last 2 drives and score those 2 touchdowns. We would.
That is such.
They'd never get there.
It does feel different from the quarterback perspective.
Hold on a second, Karl. They'd never get that far. But to get there and actually do it, and then it appears you've got shenanigans of one player, maybe 2, who didn't do their jobs at the end of that game. And then the refs. I'm just sick and tired of the refs controlling games because they do. They do. There's no fucking way Kansas City should have been in the fucking Super Bowl last year. I'm sorry. That game in Baltimore, that was bullshit. There's just too many times. Yeah, dude, go back and watch that game. You better go back and watch that game. There was 3 plays that they fucking handed Kansas City shit. Absolutely. Everybody was bitching about it. I'm just sick of it. Because this game, there should have been a fucking flag, and that game should have been over. That's just it. But no.
Laughing stock is I'm tired of it. Go ahead, Karl.
I was just gonna say, I mean, that I'm trying to go with the glass half empty or glass half full. The defense stifling 12 legitimate points, and the offense, they look terrible for 3 quarters. The Bears gave up so many yards they should have got their backs blown out, so to speak. But the quarterback engineered a 4th quarter game-winning drive. That's a fact. He essentially won the game because he never got a chance to see the field after he took the lead. After some bad play calling, some poor choices on his part to get to that point, and we'll cover that in a little bit later. But it was fine. It was just a loss. I mean, if you would have told me against the Redskins, Cardinals, and Patriots that we would go 2-1, I'd say that's fine. And that is still directly right in front of us. If anything, it just proved to me that we can go into a hostile environment, take the best college offense in the NFL and shut it down. And if the offense doesn't have the worst possible game that it can literally have, we're going to win some football games. That was a playoff game, essentially, in my opinion. If you call holding on, any of those 13 seconds, because the whole 13 seconds there's holding, right, Foster? Like, that play shouldn't have happened. If Tyreek Stevenson is not telling someone to suck it where the sun doesn't shine, that play doesn't happen. Like, it's not a win. It feels terrible. I think, for me, we'll talk about Eberflus, obviously, but I don't know if you can see my sign perfectly or not. I mean, this is what needs to happen for Eberflus to kind of get this all under control. I mean, to me, it feels like the Chicago Bears as a roster and a team are led by the players. Caleb Williams had a quote. I'll try and find it for you guys exactly what it was, but essentially, the bottom line was he said that the great teams, the players lead. So who cares if you have the 4th best head coach in the NFL, in the NFC North, if you've got a good team around it and the coach who's in place is able to do their job, essentially. Almost like a Bill Belichick. I would prefer for the head coach to be the leader. I think that Dan Campbell's style is a little bit more appealing, but at the end of the day, it's about wins and losses. So
I love what you're saying. Let's get to chat really quick before we bring in Polsky, because I want to know what he has to say about this, and then we can kind of just go around from there. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Where is DVD tonight? Hopefully he will be hanging out with us.
DVD there you are. He's going to be out.
Oh, there he is. Oh, a nasty headache, man. Sorry to see that, buddy. King Booker World hanging out with us. Steve Phillips, Slick Sophistication. Mr. Mayhem. You guys... There will be more later. We appreciate you guys starting off the beginning of the show with us tonight. I don't know. I think there's another side to this that we need to add, especially without having PJ. We'll get PJ's perspective when he hops in with us. But let's bring in Bearski, Polsky from the Bearski Films. See what he has to say.
What's up, guys?
Paulie.
What's up? What's up, Paulie?
Oh, happy Halloween.
What's up, big guy?
Happy Halloween.
And yeah, I mean, if you want to know my opinion on a subject, I'll take everyone I can get right now, right? Just because it does feel like we're supposed to be in a position where the window's opening. And at that point, I'm willing to accept luck. I'm also a realist here. They kicked our ass for 3 quarters. Okay. And so, listen, it's nice for Caleb to be able to make some clutch drives at the end. However, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because now this thought exists in the back of these guys' heads where we could go in there, put in all our effort, and this thing's still going. We'll still mess it up. You know what I mean? Whereas, like, if you do win that game, then it kind of just like it reinforces that positivity of, hey, put in every ounce of energy you have into this because it's all possible. But instead, that's what the Commanders got, right? They're now moving forward with the idea that this team will fight to the end no matter what, because look what we just did, right? So it you know, a lot of people are like, can you bounce back from this and that? You know, we've been going on the fire Matt Eberflus thing for like over a year now. So from my opinion, he's a good defensive coordinator. I always tend to credit the players more than I do the coaches, right? Not saying that the coaches don't have impact or affected. They do a lot, but I tend to just give more credit to the players. And so I don't think that you can't, I don't think that like Eberflus is irreplaceable. I think there's other guys that could come in here and get production out of this defensive talent that you have on the field. He just seems very average to me. And so when it comes to a couple plays a game, when it comes to getting a challenge, when it comes to doing the right thing, I find that you're going to be on the wrong side of that more often than you are on the right side of that. So I've said, hey, there's an upgrade here to be made. He's not terrible, right? But he's not great, and I'm not willing to crown him. And I guess his best quality is not letting the ship sink all the way to the bottom. Last year, after that Detroit collapse, I said, this team will not play as hard for this man again. And then the next week against the Vikings, they did. They went out and got 4 turnovers again, and they continued to sit there. And so I said I was wrong, okay? So maybe he does have, you know, maybe he's good enough for these guys to believe, fight for him, this and that. Great, but like how many times are you going to do this with this kind of epic collapse before you give up? And I found it very interesting that these players were speaking up, and now all of a sudden, I don't know if you guys heard quotes recently, it's, oh, well, we need to keep things in-house. We need to keep things in-house. I think personally, and this is just speculation here, I don't know anything. I'm not reporting anything. I don't have any insight. It's just my brain working. I think they're upset. They can't yell back at the media, right? He's saying, I appreciate your questions. I appreciate your questions. Goes behind closed doors to the locker room, goes, what the hell, guys? You're helping throw me under the bus here. Quit it. Stop it. And instead, he's taking his frustrations out on the players instead of owning it himself like he should. He should be the spearhead for this team. It should start with him, just like the quarterback. That they're on the same level. They go out there and say, hey, it's us, and then whatever, you know what I mean? And Eberflus just refuses to do that. And so I think that's going to really bite him in the ass in the long run.
Foster,
Paulie, I just want to throw in real quick, Polsky. So Eberflus did take accountability yesterday on Wednesday. Took long enough. And to your point regarding the players, it was both DJ Moore and the safety, Kevin Byard. They both had essentially threw him under the bus. So your point, very well received, and it's true.
Yeah, I felt like he did it to get the monkey off his back. Okay, fine, it's my fault. Let's move on. We got another game.
Yeah,
like you didn't
PR training
you didn't own it. You own it right in the moment when it's
I'm
the hardest.
here.
When it's the hardest time to do so. You show that you're a damn leader, and you go up there right after the damn game. You know what I mean? And you own it because you're the head coach. Like,
Foster, over 700 years on this planet, all 100 plus as a Bears fan. Like, can you tell us, like, where are you at in this moment? Is this, I mean, we did a whole show on fire. You know, if you're going to get rid of Getsy, fire everyone, trade Justin, draft Caleb Williams. Here we sit now. It's just game management stuff, and it's fucking annoying. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, this is kind of where somebody mentioned it. This is where polls brought us to, and I'm still a polls backer. And Paul, I agree with everything you said. His mentality of not willing to do that is going to cost him somewhere. But I got to stay on the negative and hope that this would revitalize them and make them more intense and intent on the future games coming up. We cannot make these bonehead. Kind of like when the Bears lost. I know I hate to bring this up, but like there's two things. When the Bears lost to the 49ers in '84, they were determined. I mean, on the plane coming back, there's an article in Sports Illustrated, Gary Fetzik interview. On the plane coming back from that game, they said no, we're not doing this again next year. Next year we're winning the Super Bowl. And then after they lost to the Dolphins, they're like, all right, now that woke us up. I know it's not, you can't compare them, Paul, but I'm hoping that this has shown them that we've got to cut out all these bonehead mistakes. What I hate is the celebrating too. There shouldn't be any fucking celebrating until the fucking clock's at 0. That's when you celebrate. I hate all this shit that they're all doing, not just the Bears players.
Yeah,
it makes me sick to see the Bears do it more, especially, we're down and you just got a sack and you're I get it, but walk away and just continue to do your job. You can celebrate when we win. I'm just hoping that this has brought this team even a little closer. I know there's going to be disagreements and there's some stuff going on in that locker room because there always is. There just always is. No world is perfect.
I think you're referencing a playoff loss though in '84, right?
I am, but not in '85 with the Dolphins game. I mean, if you go back to that game, because the Bears their heads were too high for that game, man. They just were too high. We're going to go undefeated. They had already let the Super Bowl video broke. And that will literally Dent and Wilbur Marshall or somebody else. A bunch of guys said no. After that game, that made us more determined than ever. And I'm hoping that they go in there with this kind of mentality. Okay, we can't do this. We can't do this. We've got to fly straight for 60 minutes every freaking week. There's no time off. And this goes for right on down from the Eberflus on down to the last guy sitting on the bench or the practice squad. You just got to stay intense and keep focused on this prize, man. Because look at this team is still so much better than the crap we were dealing with last year and 2 years ago. It is. You got to look at it. I mean, you got to admit it. This wouldn't have happened last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 5 years ago. Everybody, Mitch Trubisky, I don't give a shit. Mitch Trubisky, he was a Pro Bowl and this and that. Go back and watch the games and look at his shit. The guy sucked. I'm just saying. We've got a quarterback. Maybe we do have a bigger coaching problem than I see. I mean, I know it's not perfect because nothing is going to be, but we've got the talent. It's there. It's there.
It's like
we're there.
It's like Caleb said, like you were alluding to, I think it was Karl or Bearsky, one of you guys, I forget, that it's the coach, it's the team, like the players have to lead a great team. And
Caleb Williams literally said that, I believe, when he spoke with the media on
I saw
Monday
him say it. Yes, I saw him say it with my own eyes. So is it just I know.
Your responsibility as a coach is to put the players in position to be able to do that, though.
I am like eternally optimistic, right? Like I've been constantly I've heard Bearsky, you said something to me about not being optimistic. I actually had to take a picture of this chat. King Buka in the Sports Zone Chicago shows every Monday and Wednesday and Thursday with Sean Sierra that I try to watch as much as I can. He says, Shorty, I will clothesline some belief into you. I need you, Shorty. You are one of the super fans, man. We have a QB that can drive on and get game-winning drives.
You're the suicide prevention hotline, Shorty.
I hate feeling like this. I hate it. I hate feeling like this. It's just not the loss so much for me as it is the narrative of the loss. It's the everything that was supposed to be our turn taken away from a doppelganger of Gregory Hines.
What have they won? Have they won the division? Have they played any division games this year besides the Giants? Slenderman could literally get broken in half by the guy that we gave to Philadelphia. Let's let PJ weigh in because I think that he's going to have to set you straight here.
I'm not sure if he's ready to come in yet, but I don't know whenever he is.
My bad on
because we had issues tonight, so he doesn't have the normal link.
I have another opinion on it. You know, when you look around the league, you got a guy like Doug Peterson who won a Super Bowl in his 3 years later is fired from the Eagles. Right, 3 years, like Nick Foles got Super Bowl MVP that year, his backup quarterback. So despite even losing your quarterback and being a very average coach, I think Eberflus is a better coach than Doug Peterson, right? He still has that Super Bowl on his resume. Whereas like you look at a guy like Andy Reid, it took him 20 years before he finally won a Super Bowl. And that's where at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, the players are the ones that have to get it done for you. It wasn't until you got Patrick Mahomes, but everybody knew you were a great coach. You know what I mean? It's just those things don't always go hand in hand. And so is it possible for Matt Eberflus to win with this team? Sure, of course. And I think that that's what the hope was that we were going to ride on, that we're going to have players that are talented enough to overcome having an average coach. You know what I mean? However, you know, that's coming to fruition a little bit. You saw Caleb pull Eberflus off the field. It's stuff like that, you know what I mean? Where it's like, man, that shouldn't be after leading a fourth quarter comeback, sitting down on the bench with 25 seconds to go, not expecting to play another play unless you go into overtime, right? Sit down, take a breath. What's the first thing you do? You have to go get your coach, pull him off the field from getting a penalty. Like that shouldn't be your concern at that point if you're Caleb, but he's still, you know, his awareness is still there. So I think that's a positive sign. But like I said, I'm not just going to sit here and pretend that there isn't an upgrade available at the head coaching position. And I'm a cutthroat guy. I think this is a cutthroat league, and I'm willing to make tough decisions sometimes in order to make clear, obvious upgrades. And if Ben Johnson was available out there, I don't know how you didn't pull the trigger. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to interject with. Was the rumor came out ironically after the Bears lose a big game, right? Ben Johnson wanted the Bears job. That's what was told, right? All offseason, I was under the impression that Ben Johnson said that he wanted to stay to finish the job and win the Super Bowl with the Lions, which he's in prime position to do. But aside from Ben Johnson, if Ben Johnson doesn't want to come there, which is already weird, right? Because you're going to waste a year with Caleb and instill a new offense. I don't know if I like the idea. But essentially, if there wasn't Ben Johnson, Polsky, or anyone else on the panel, who's a clear-cut, obvious head coach that you'd want to go out and get to replace Eberflus?
Like last offseason or this upcoming season?
Going into this upcoming season, because we can't go back into the past, unfortunately.
So you can't answer that honestly because you don't know who's available yet.
You're not wrong.
So, I mean, I can't say for sure. You know what I mean? But like a guy, for example, like Kevin Stefanski, if he makes his way out of Cleveland, I mean, there's a two-time coach of the year.
I have heard some very bad things about him from Browns fans, though, so I don't know if it'd be a clear-cut upgrade.
I think he was coaching one-handed with that ownership really interjecting with player personnel decisions, which shouldn't be what happens. But, you know, listen, no coach is perfect. Like I said, I can't really answer that because I don't know who's available out there yet. But last year, I would have – I don't think Jim Harbaugh is the perfect coach. I would have taken him. Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I think that's an upgrade over Eberflus.
I would have for sure taken Jim Harbaugh.
He brings a better staff with him. You know what I mean? And so at least you're experienced enough in this league to have connections. Like, let's not forget, in San Francisco, Harbaugh had Vic Fangio under him. You know what I mean? So, like, that's part of the deal here. Whereas we don't have that with Eberflus. He's an up-and-coming guy. So anybody who he gets is also up-and-coming. Like Luke Getsy was not an offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? You have to give these guys new opportunities. So it's like, on one hand, I would like a guy with some experience. Man, if you could I would say Brian Dable is probably a better head coach over Flus. No, he's just in a bad situation over there. Yeah, I guess. But, I mean, they're really handicapped by their quarterback. It's the decision to keep Daniel Jones that really screwed him.
I don't understand John's comment, though. He said you could have had Brian Daboll and Cliff Kingsbury. I think Cliff Kingsbury, if he's going to leave the Redskins, it's going to be a head coach. I do not want Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach.
No, but I wanted him as an offensive coordinator, and I felt the Bears were too
That's afraid. Debatable.
I felt
in the long run, I think it's going to hurt the quarterback.
King Booker world.
I felt the Bears were too afraid to make that move. Because if you have a guy with head coaching experience as your offensive coordinator, and this happens,
too, my brother.
What's happening now, then everybody's calling for Eberflus to step down and Kingsbury to take over. Whereas right now, we can't do that because there's nobody to take over. You're forced to ride it out with Eberflus. And I think that's more of a situation that they preferred.
That's just what the McCaskies do, right? They've never fired a coach in season. Last thing I'll say regarding a defensive presence to replace Eberflus, if they were to fire him, I always liked Robert Saleh. I feel like he got a bad job, whatever happened with New York. If he was to be a defensive coordinator, that would help me if we were to lose Eberflus.
Mr. Mayhem saying the Bears should have hired Jim Harbaugh. Yeah. You know how
It
I
felt
felt.
like such an obvious thing, didn't it?
It did. It did. It did. That's why I don't need to get into it right now. But Greg Gabriel said something about Jim Harbaugh being 4-3 right now, and I understand Greg Gabriel's point on not just blowing up the team every couple of years because you give up on it so quickly. I understand, and I want to follow that. That's how I want to be naturally. I don't want to be. I try to just give as much as I can and allow it to give some time. But sometimes you just see shit that's just like, you didn't know that you were going to go for 2 on this drive if you scored a touchdown 4 minutes ago, and you have to call a timeout. You don't call a timeout in the right situations. You don't challenge the flag in the right a play in the right situation, and you do in the wrong ones. It's just situational football, and it just becomes so fucking frustrating because none of us as Bears fans can handle this again. That's why I was in the Dan and Aldo show last night, in the chat last night. I made a comment and I just copied it and pasted it for like an hour.
You edited a little bit.
I did edit it.
Jets fan.
Hire head coach, hire general manager, draft quarterback, fire head coach, hire head coach, cut quarterback, hire a draft quarterback, fire head coach, fire general manager, hire head coach, and then just repeat. That is this team. And now we're on it again.
Don't we
year
have
in
alignment?
this.
We have perfect alignment right now, don't we? We have a GM who chose his head coach, who together drafted their quarterback.
Yes, but he was interviewed before he was hired. It's kind of until that is completely 100% done correctly, which I know it will be the next time. It's just so Bears, and here we are again drafting a quarterback with a head coach that we should have gotten rid of. We should have just started all over again, and that just puts me in the gutter as a Bears fan.
We were talking about all of this Tuesday on the British Bears while I'd listen and I'd jump in there, but because it all comes down to two, and I think Samo mentioned it, was the accountability with anything. Where does it? Who holds it all the time, man? There you go, Dan. That's going up,
sorry.
Scotty.
I think I did that on accident with a hotkey or something.
Nothing. I don't know, man. It's too many emotions.
Yeah, I choose to back off of the week to week thing and kind of take a look at the bigger picture. And so, sure, Greg Gabriel said what he said, and sure, the stats are and the records are whatever. You can sit there and pick apart any argument like that, period. Okay, the Chargers, they're not in a strong division. They're in the AFC. I mean, I could list you multiple teams that are better.
Their losses are very, very legitimate. And anyone who's saying that the Cardinals are a bad team, we're going to see that. We'll figure that out real soon.
What I'm saying, though, is in the big picture, I trust Harbaugh way more than I trust Eberflus, period. You know what I mean? And it's not about this week. Like, you ask me what I think is going to happen next week, I think we'll win. I think we'll win against the Patriots. We'll be feeling all giggly for the next 2 weeks. And then reality is going to sink in when we face some damn tough teams from this division, and it's time to perform and time to act again. And then the long run, I think you'll see these failures repeat. Listen, guys, you saw the statistic come out of all these probabilities and what the chances are of it happening 4 times, right? It's 1 in a million. We got a 1 in a million head coach, guys. No,
listen, I'm choosing it to right now. King Buka World has been encouraging me to find myself, and damn it, it's worked. Okay. Here's what has to happen. We have got to rely on the players leading the team. The players are going to help make the coaching staff better. That's the kind of team we have. Right, Buka? Buka, right?
Not if they're taunting the crowd, though.
The players have got to be the ones that are going to lead this team. Is it fact, Karl? I thought that I heard he is being benched.
I've got a little news, something or other I was going to throw together when the time comes. It's speculation from one member of the media, who I think it's Dan Wiederer. Essentially, he put out some CYA tweet, cover your ass. He said, if this happens, don't be surprised. There's nothing concrete. I have a video that we could watch if you want to delve into that now. I didn't know when you wanted to get to that, but I've got something that we can show. Just kind of the overall vibe regarding Stevenson.
PJ's ready to come in. If you want to add him into this really quick, and let's see what he has to say before we get into that. Because I'm sure he can summarize this, right, PJ? Wait, listen. We started off this show with me in a shitty mood, and I know that you had some positive shit to say, and Buka's been jacking me up over here, encouraging me to become positive again. So I want to hear from the man himself, the most positive man on the panel.
Wait a minute, Peach, though. It's like most of the shows we've done where Shorty started off in a shitty mood, right? Think about it over the last couple of years for sure. All them losses.
That's why I need to hear PJ right now.
I can't hear him.
No, you're muted, Peach.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. I think the thing for me, I understand the frustration, the disappointment, but the reality is we have a rookie quarterback. We have Eberflus, who still is learning on the job. Dan Quinn outcoached him. Do I believe Eberflus can get better? Absolutely. I think he can get better. One of the things I warned about was this whole cycle of quarterback, lame duck coach. This is what happens. But I'm saying right now, I don't want to give up on Eberflus because I want the cycle to end, just like I wanted the whole quarterback cycle to end. I want it to end. And how does it end? By going through some growing pains. We have to go through some growing pains. Great. I think, what's his name? Jaden Daniels. He played a good game. He outplayed Caleb. Do I believe he's better than Caleb overall? No, I do not. He just had a better game. So we just have to learn from this. And again, we just made certain, if you want to call out Stevenson for his bubblehead play, which was a bubblehead play, you got to also call out Eberflus for not calling a timeout. You got to call out Eberflus for not calling the correct defense. So you want to talk about benching Stevenson, what are you going to do to Eberflus? So again, he took accountability, being Stevenson, stepped in front of the room, apologized, took accountability. But like Lance Briggs said, he's not the only one who made mistakes in that game. That offense was non-existent for 3 quarters. 3 whole quarters, that offense was non-existent. So call out everybody. As far as with them, I ain't saying you got to do it in the media, but everybody got to take accountability. To single out just one player for his boneheaded mistake, no, I'm not going to go for that. Again, me as a man, I would go to him if I'm one of the captains of the team, leaders of the team, even the coach. Hey, man, we can't have you doing that, bro. Bottom line. But again, it's not about the media for me. It's about taking accountability with your teammates. I think Karl said that earlier about having the team sit up there taking accountability with each other. Therefore, you can have that bond there. But I don't think it's the end of the road yet. I still think we have a good chance of winning over 10 games this year. I just think we have to learn, and Eberflus has to take accountability and say, hey, I got to do better. But to say, oh, I don't think we needed to, that was no big deal for them to get that 13-yard pass with 6 seconds to go or whatever it was. I'm like, come on, bro. That's just, let's use this here. But the negativity, I'm not going to sit up there and just, say, oh, fire everybody, trade everybody, cut everybody. I ain't on that. We still got a chance. We still can turn this thing around. I just think we just have to buckle down and just do what we got to do.
I got
PJ,
a question for every one of you guys.
I want to say one thing to PJ, and I just need to highlight that this is not an original thought. This original thought, I was blessed with this by Daveski on Bearski Film. So PJ, you said that Dan Quinn outcoached Matt Eberflus. I think it was Cliff Kingsbury in the sense that he was the perfect human being to give intel on Caleb Williams. He was Caleb Williams' offensive coordinator last year. So whether you think that it was Jaden Daniels outplaying him, I think that Cliff Kingsbury gave the book to Dan Quinn, and they were able to get the perfect game plan. And to be fair, Caleb Williams still overcame that. He got a game-winning drive.
Right. I mean, that's what I mean. Just situationally. I mean, that's what I'm talking about as far as out coaching, the situational, like when to call a timeout, when not to call a timeout, little things like that. It's like, again, you scrambling to get your guys in position, because I'm seeing them telling Johnson, telling him to do this. And like, bro, you got a timeout, use it. You got 2 seconds left. Get your guys set up. And then to only have 3 people rush with Edwards spying either the quarterback or the running back. I don't know which one he was spying. I don't know. It could be either or. But nevertheless, and then you don't even put your best pass rusher in the game at the time. You don't even put your second best.
I believe Montez Sweat was injured.
Okay, you don't even put your second best pass rusher in the game. Because you had what's his name? Walker, you had Dexter, and you had Martin.
Jacob Martin, yep.
Where was the other guy at? Talking about Taylor. Is he not one of our best pass rushers?
Well, PJ, since we now know that there legally cannot be holding called on a Hail Mary play, what do you want on the field? I want the player with the best motor. Who is that on the Bears? That's Austin Booker. He should have been on the field at the very least.
Again, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we could have had 5, like Rex Ryan said. Rex Ryan said, one thing I don't do, I don't leave it up to chance. I'll go ahead and put pressure with 5. You're seeing 5 guys, you're going to have him react. And here you let this guy scramble around. Again, I'm not mad about it. I mean, because I'm just stating facts now. I'm not mad. Let's just say you only got 3 guys rushing. You give this guy all this time, and he just loads up. And again, we don't even have our guys set to where, nobody's boxing out number 85 for the Washington Commanders. Maybe they're not even boxing him out. Stevenson, again, starts off to the right. He goes back over there. Then if you notice, he comes back over to the left before going back over there to where the ball was thrown. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what he was doing. And again, I'm not just calling him out. Everybody's accountable. But the whole thing is, me as a head coach, as a defensive coach, why am I not calling a timeout, making sure my guys are set?
And PJ, it was confirmed that the player who caught the football for the Redskins, Noah Brown, he was supposed to be essentially covered by Stevenson. Stevenson was supposed to be the knockdown guy, and he was too busy telling the fans to suck it where the sun don't shine. So hence the sign.
Was supposed to knock the ball down and cover the guy. Is that what you're saying?
85 was the player who caught the ball in the back of the end zone. Right. The way that they described the lineup, there's a player on the back. That was supposed to be Tyreek Stevenson. He was supposed to be the knockdown. He made a hero play because he was out of position.
The next person to talk is Foster, and then you can, Bearski.
Well, this is a question for everybody. I was going to start with PJ and then go to Paul. It's just a real simple question. I mean, did you see growth in the Bears this week? Because we've been talking about this for weeks, how there's been some sort of growth every week with the Bears. What do you guys see on that?
I thought I saw enough fight to where, although the game looked down for 3.5 quarters, they kept persevering and put themselves in a position to win. And that's ultimately what we can ask for. I mean, because had it been them not giving them 2 extra seconds after we scored the touchdown, the game probably would have been over. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but they gave him 2 extra seconds saying, oh, there was 2 seconds put back on the clock. So it went from 23 seconds to 25 seconds. So then, we had the kickoff, which knocked it down to 19 seconds, which should have been 17 seconds. Point being is we were right there to win. So, yes, I did see growth.
So, Foster, before I answer your question, PJ, I just want to kind of answer some of your points a little bit, because I feel like, you're saying two different things at times. And it's like, okay, so one, we have to go through the growing pains with Caleb Williams. Of course. You're also saying that Matt Eberflus is learning on the job. So we also have to go through his growing pains at the same time in after he's been a head coach multiple years now and had time to figure this out. So that's okay. Then you're saying there is a chance to still get a lot of wins. Yes, 100%. I think your idea of what that chance is and my idea differ a little bit. You're probably a little bit higher with that percentage of a chance. I think I'm a little bit lower, but there's always a chance that you could still turn this thing around and, overcome average coaching, right? And then you're going off and pointing out the improvements that the coaching could have had. And so, you're saying don't fire. I'm not on the whole don't fire everybody and this and that. Like, you're in a situation where you're not going to fire Eberflus right now. Who's going to replace him? You got nobody better, right? So you're handicapped into riding this thing out to the end of the year one way or another, whether it's good or bad or whatever. Bears won't fire head coaches during the middle of the season. You're riding this thing out with Matt Eberflus, right? Like, this is his last shot. It's do or die, go ahead. But then we're noticing all these faults that you're making that, like you said, can he get better? Sure. How much longer is it going to take him to get better? I don't know. And I don't really want to find out. So in my opinion, I would much rather get a guy in here who is better, who has that stuff figured out, who won't, like a head coach who will make less of those errors that he's making right now. And so, like I said, I'm not saying that Matt Eberflus is the worst guy out there or whatever, but I'm also not saying that he's the greatest and he's irreplaceable. I think that there is definitely candidates out there that could come in here with a staff, still get production out of these players, and when it comes to what they're responsible for, make less errors and do a better job. Of course, there's worse ones out there too, and we've all seen that, but I'm willing to take that risk and try and pair that up with Caleb Williams than I think to keep this thing going after this year, right? In fact, I was all for it at the beginning, like in the offseason. I kind of wanted to do this. I'd rather be a step ahead than a step behind. And then Foster, was there growth? I mean, yes. And no, I mean, it kind of sucks because it's like the growth.
Wait, really quickly, Polsky. I understand you're making your points when you're talking. You're pounding your table.
Oh, it's making a noise.
And it's just like bam, bam, bam,
okay,
bam. I understand what you're doing.
Yeah, that is exactly what I'm. No, I didn't know that. Okay, my bad.
All you need a cigarette hang out of your mouth and pound the bar and have a drink. There you go. That's me in the bars in the past.
Right. No. So, is there growth? I think there's growth. I think there's growth every game, especially for a rookie quarterback that's only played so many games, and so you're going to go through your ups and downs. You're going to have your bad games. To sit here and see him overcome all that and still show up in the clutch moments is very good. I have very little concern about Caleb Williams moving forward. However, I wish it was reinforced with the victory, reinforced with the prize instead of reinforced with failure. That's where I feel like, I don't know, like that kind of sucks. You know what I mean? But
I think there's playoffs, Paul.
The prize is the trophy, Foster.
That's true. I mean, it's. I've been calling Super Bowl the entire time. Still not coming down from it, but it's just I'm a lot more worried about our division now. I really am, and that's I think. Shit, we're 4-3 right now. We could be 5-3. And then what? We have the Packers, and we're all just going to sit here next week and pick the
Cards and Patriots.
Oh, Patriots, and then we're all just going to sit here on this panel and pick the Bears to beat the Packers. and with confidence. Yeah, it hasn't happened in 11 games. Kidding me?
I mean, you could still do it, but the chances aren't. It's not in your favor. But it's still possible. It's any given Sunday in this league. So I mean, these guys show up and have a bad game, you could still pull one off any given Sunday. However, if we're putting money on it, I wouldn't put my money on it.
No, definitely not. I'd put my money against it. Karl, you were about to get into the Tyreek Stevenson thing.
I just wanted to show off, just to really drive home how good the division is, because I'm sure we have no idea how good this division is. Take a look at the top 8 teams in defensive coverage. Bears 2, Lions 4, Vikings 6, Packers 8. The most elite secondary in the entire NFL resides in the NFC North. Obviously, we know how good the quarterback play is, the records, whatever you want to say. This division is hell. So,
Yeah.
So I guess if we want to talk about Tyreek Stevenson, and we'll ask Mr. PJ and everyone else's their thoughts. Well, I point out PJ because PJ already mentioned exactly how he feels about the situation, right? If you're going to call out one guy, you got to call out the entire team, essentially. But let me show you guys a quick video, a compilation from Eberflus on Monday, I believe, and then Eric Washington from today, just on their thoughts regarding Tyreek Stevenson.
Is Tyreek going to start on Sunday?
Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to talk about, the Tyreek in terms of starting, not starting, all those things. But I will say this, that Tyreek's made a lot of plays for this group and for our defense and for our football team over the last couple years, and he's going to continue to do that. So we're behind Tyreek and we're with him all the way. And again, we'll work through this as we go.
Your system stresses discipline. It stresses the hit system. Doesn't this violate all of that? And if it does, should he be made an example?
Yeah, the hits principle is based on that, and you can see that coming to fruition with a lot of parts of our team, and it's important that everybody abides by that on every single play. And again, it's a high standard, and we got to do a good job with that on every single play.
What's the penalty when you don't abide by that?
Yeah, again, like I said, it's we'll see where everything goes with that. I appreciate your question, and I understand where you're going with it. And again, I'm not going to talk about who's starting, who's not starting, all those things, those conversations we had, together, individually, one-on-one.
Has anyone have seen that Tyreek was kind of going haywire at the beginning of that play? Is that, when you look back at how that ensued, should somebody of authority been, seen that and been able to do something about it?
I won't, what I just mentioned as far as what we're looking at, how we're managing the entire operation and looking at exactly what's going on. We're processing the situation. My expectation for every player on the field is to be in the right position and to do exactly what they're supposed to be doing at that particular point.
I don't know if this is in your purview or not, but do you have an opinion on consequences? And is there anything that you can or are allowed to reveal in terms of potential consequences for Tyreek Stevenson?
Yeah, my focus is moving forward. And making sure that we get the defense ready for the Arizona Cardinals, and that's where I am. And just I'm not involved. I'm not as much interested in consequences as I am making sure that we grow from every situation that we're involved in.
Eric,
is there a
bigger picture issue with Tyreek and focus that you need to attend to and address? I mean, he had the personal foul earlier in the game that put them in field goal range. Is there something that you need to address with him and kind of coach him on as far as that goes?
Outside of what we're doing with Tyreek and every player that we have on our defense, no, I have complete confidence in Tyreek Stevenson. I have complete confidence in his position coach, John Hoke. And we just need to continue to work, continue to grow. I know Tyreek and I know everybody on our defense beyond that particular moment. And that's the advantage that I have that maybe others don't. I know him beyond that moment.
So, gentlemen, I ask you, should the Bears bench Tyreek Stevenson?
Ask who?
You're gonna make the whole team suffer.
Okay, Foster, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this and hopefully explain that I don't feel like I'm undervaluing Tyreek Stevenson and I'm not overvaluing Terrell Smith. They rotated last year. They rotated this game. Terrell Smith is capable. The opportunity cost is low from a player standpoint, in my opinion.
I
Yes.
don't bench him. I think he gets enough grief from everybody walking through that locker room, dude, without even a word being said. If you're any type of a thought process, or if there's, I don't even know the words I'm looking for, man. But you know what I'm saying? Where just when I would make mistakes on the job, and if I had some pretty big ones where it would cost us $1,000 or something like that. And back in the day, that's a lot of money, man. So you got to work with these people every day, anyways, no matter what. So you've got to earn your respect back, and the only way to do it is just shut your mouth and do your job. So you give them that opportunity to do it.
Foster, I do want to play one more piece of
evidence. There's other ways you can penalize them. You can fine them. You can do it. I don't care if you fine them for $10. It's the point of knowing that you fucked up, man.
Let me share one more piece of evidence to give you an insight into Tyreek Stevenson's mind before the game even started.
Ready, baby? You ain't ready? You ain't ready? Hey, this is our house, baby. This is our house, baby. Hey, let's do it. He said you're not ready. He said you're not ready. He said you're not ready. Let it up, baby. Let it up.
So he was saying, bet your mortgage. I don't know how much a house traditionally is in the Washington, D.C. area. My guess is $500,000. So he lost a cool $1 million on 2 handshakes there, if he's a man of his word at the very least. So just to give you a look into the lion's eye. So,
Karl,
I don't know what you want.
Are they paying that bet if he has a pick that game?
Well, put Vernon's comment up there. Hi, Vernon. Vernon Roseman's in, guys.
Vernon, what's
made
up,
an
buddy?
example of if you're gonna flaunt the hits principle.
Can I tell you? Yeah, I'll tell you right now. Romeo Doubs on the Packers did not specify why he missed a practice, and it led to him getting suspended. Jair Alexander on the Packers. He did specify why. That's what led to a suspension. Jair Alexander, for his pregame toss antics, got suspended. The Patriots suspended Malcolm Butler for the Super Bowl. Why? Because the team's bigger than you, man. Vernon Davis is all I have to say. Vernon Davis. I don't want him. We can't win with him. You guys remember Mike Singletary? Vernon Davis, he said that changed him around. He said it changed his whole life around, that benching. Okay? And so it has to happen. I like Tyreek as much as everybody else likes Tyreek. Foster, you said, like, do you hurt the whole team? I mean, it might just be necessary. It's part of the deal. I'm not trying to have him be like Gomer Pyle from Full Metal Jacket. I don't want these guys beating him with soap in the middle of the night because they have to suffer for him. But I don't think that's it. I think what it is setting expectations, setting a tone for what is acceptable and what isn't. And that's just not acceptable. And it won't be repeated by you or anybody else on this team without consequences, period. First time around. And so in my opinion, it sucks. It sucks that he did it. You gotta do it, man. It's hard. You gotta do it.
Should I roll over to his crib with a couple of guys and give him a Cook County blanket party, Peach?
I'm a little bit worried about what that means exactly, though.
This is what
I'm going to pull the blankie over us.
This is what it is.
I'm going to pull the blankie over us, guys.
You do something, yeah. You get the blankie pulled over. You do something stupid in the wrong place, and I'm talking like in jail or prison. You will wake up in the middle of the night with a blanket with you tied down to your bed with a bunch of people beating the fuck out of you. That's what I'm talking about.
It's more of a long-term tone thing, man. It's for the long term. It's not for this next week. It's for your career as a head coach and what you stand for.
So I could flop either way on that because you got to do what's best for the team. Period. In my opinion, whatever it is, whatever's best for the team, man.
So Foster, I just want to touch
the key word, Paul.
Before PJ goes, I just want to touch on your point. I don't think that the teammates should be piling on, because that's how you get a fractured locker room, and that's when you have a real problem. I think I like what Paulski said. Have the head coach make an example. You can have the players lead, but if you get out of line, if a team ran by the McCaskies who prevented any swearing on Hard Knocks has a player during a live play telling fans to suck his penis, you cannot have that.
Yeah, they probably are not happy about it at all. Come to think of the McCaskies and the family. Jeez.
Just to put it out, if you don't know what I'm saying, I'm not a big WWE fan. There is a wrestler, to my understand, who I believe his name is DX. The hand gesture that Tyreek Stevenson did is the same celebration, whatever you want to call it, that wrestler has, that is essentially saying, suck it. Yes, thank you, Paulski. Thank you.
Who made that up? DX?
D-Generation X. It was Triple H back in the day. It was their thing. Yeah, from when I was a kid watching wrestling. And so, yeah, it's been around.
Bench him or not, PJ?
Well, the problem is you're talking about a coach wanting to bench a player where the coach never took any accountability. So that same coach now wants to, in this example, bench a player for holding him accountable. It just doesn't add up. If you want to fracture and lose your locker room, you as a coach, if you're not taking accountability and then to hold one of your players accountable, they will grow to hate you, because it's got to work both ways. It got to work. Coach take accountability, player take accountability. If the coach not taking accountability, you can't hold your player to the fire. It won't work. And then you will be replacing the coach next year because no one will be respecting him.
I like Vernon's comment, and then Sam Rush asked, "Whoa, I guess you missed it, Sam. Where did the sucking penis?"
I asked him if he's on delay. We don't have to repeat it. I don't mean to be vile or whatever, but that's what it was.
It doesn't matter, but that is what he said. Sam.
The PG-13 quote was just "suck it."
Thank you.
By
well
the way,
said, sir.
We have not gotten to our chat tonight yet, like officially. And since you have come in, PJ, I think it's about time that we do. Peach.
You're right.
We have Matt Kedrow. Keds. We have You're Right. Slick Sophistication. AC Adam. 5 in Smile.
Hair Bear.
Sam Rush.
Samo.
Prometheus.
Dave S. King Buka World.
Vernon Roseman.
Jack Package was in here again.
My man, Hair Bear.
Hair Bear, good to see you again. Slicks, Tin Pan Dog, Karl.
I'm gonna hold off. I'll do another one a bit.
John.
Kyle, I'll do it myself.
Would you like to stroke my pussy, darling?
And Samo had a 5 or 6 point thing in the chat where he read 1. So go back and read that. That's a good layout he's got going on there.
Yeah, I'll have some egg rolls, some Tin Ting Dong, and
what? No super chats?
Need
it. Paul, you're used to the insanity, correct? Taking down there, shaking his head, drinking his eyes out.
Let
the bodies hit the floor.
Well, Ghost of Judah Tribe was in here tonight. He's actually been.
Don't give the fire oxygen.
Everyone that's been asking to ban him, he's been following our rules to this point, so we appreciate that.
Steve Phillips.
My cousin Steve. Creighton Wilfong. Rick
T. Adam.
Rick Gonzalez hopping in here for a minute. And of course, Mo Lester. $5 super chat from Hair Bear. Dude, thank you so much, Hair Bear. We appreciate that. Thank you. It's great to see you again hanging out with us tonight. I mean, it's a Thursday night. You could be watching football. You could be jerking off. You know, might be better than
Tyreek
this show
Stevenson would
sometimes.
approve of that.
Yeah. We appreciate your super chat.
Maybe not the jerking off, only the you suck it up.
Yeah. So where are we going from
They don't
here?
care what you do in Wisconsin, Foster. They don't care.
Karl, look at the time. Where are we at here? Where are we at here?
It's about time to end the show.
All right. Sounds
Whoa, what? Already?
Yeah. Yeah.
guys.
Thanks,
I can
everyone.
laugh
Thank you so
for-
much for watching. Bye-bye.
It's
And we're back.
The first show we've ever done that was an hour long ever, Paul, and you're on it.
Yeah, I'll have some egg rolls, some ping ping dong, and
That's not me. We got to fire the producer. I don't know what's going on tonight.
That's I love that one. I just love. Well, that's Tin Pan Dog. Oh,
I hate
God.
how I added my laugh to the end of it, but it's just integrated into it.
Anyway.
I mean, I could ask you guys one question I've been asking. Who's got the worst coaching staff in the NFC North?
Well, that's what I've said. It's like we clearly do.
Feels like low-hanging fruit, yeah. I don't know if
So
there's
why
much
are
of a
we
debate.
not? So why are we not like willing
Paul,
to upgrade there? And
How many coaching staffs are better than the 3 teams that we have in our division, though?
That's the problem.
It's so okay with saying that they have, like, all 3 of those teams, Packers, Vikings, Lions, they could have all top 10 coaching staffs in the NFL. That's not impossible.
I mean, Sean McVay.
Do we have the best quarterback? Yeah.
Sean McVay, definitely. Shanahan, Andy Reid, right? Like you look at the AFC, it's filled with some good coaches. Yeah, John Harbaugh, the Ravens. That man is masterful, in my opinion.
Model of consistency. Ironically, like Tomlin as well. Tomlin's
yes.
great.
So yeah, there's other guys out there, and listen, just like I want my quarterback to be top 10, just like I want my defense to be top 10, my offense to be top 10, I want my head coaches to be top 10, and I just think we're far away from that, and we've seen it for a couple of years. It's I don't know.
No, for a head coach. No, not at all. Polsky, I just want to ask Polsky,
but I would never do it.
I want to ask Polsky one thing. Would the offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, would he be at his worst in the NFC North, knowing that those teams have so much familiarity with him, and especially the Lions? Like, you'd hope that they would know exactly what he's going to be running, right?
Yes and no. I mean, are the Lions having trouble right now because people are familiar with him?
Absolutely not at all. But
no,
that also is baked into personnel.
Sure, it's a lot about when it comes to coaching. It's not about just staying stale. It's about adjustments all the time. I mean, so that's what you need to be good at. You don't need to be good at, hey, this is my scheme, this is what we're going to run. You need to be a good teacher. You need to be a good leader. You need to be able to adjust. You need to have these guys ready for multiple scenarios. Situational football is what we're talking about here, right? And so, like a good coach renews. You know what I mean? So listen, I think what it would have done if we got Ben Johnson in this last offseason is I think the Lions would have been worse. I think they're looking at more like an Atlanta Falcons situation where they had Kyle Shanahan, went to a Super Bowl, and when Kyle Shanahan left, all the success left with him and went straight to San Francisco because I think he was the thing that really drove that. I'm not so much of a Dan Campbell believer. I think he's a great leader and a good rah-rah guy, but I think the brains of that operation are definitely Ben Johnson, and that would have hurt the Lions as well as benefited us. I think it would have been a great move to make in last offseason. I think it'll still be a great move to make this next offseason if you can make it. I mean,
to me, it feels a little bit too late.
I'm worried.
I'm not afraid to get egg on my face. Ben Johnson would be a first-time head coach, correct, Polsky?
Yes.
So that if they have no success, it'll just be the same old story, the vicious cycle. Oh, why'd you hire a guy with no experience? Yada, yada, yada. So I don't want to crown him, and I'm okay with getting egg on my face saying this. I just don't think that Ben Johnson is the savior, especially if you have to make him the highest paid coach in the NFL.
No, Caleb Williams needs to be the savior. Ben Johnson, I think, will help Caleb Williams be the savior. a lot better and faster and put them in better positions than Matt Eberflus and his staff will. Like I said,
But
listen,
Cliff Kingsbury,
are these things possible? They're all possible. You can still win with Eberflus. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying you're way better off with some other people out there at winning. And I want my chances to be as high as they can be. You know, I want to dominate by design, like I said. And I think there's ways to do things. And that's why when you see like the Packers lose Jordan Love and still come in and have success with the guy they pick up midweek, it's because they're good coaches. And so for that moment, they can make that work and then pick it back up and whatever. And like, that's when coaching really kind of comes into play and has some effect on a ball game. But other than that, it's your guys out there that are getting it done. And it's your ability to educate those guys, prepare those guys, everything like that. And I think we're seeing a lot of lack of that. And then we're seeing a lot of lack of making the right hard decisions in the moment. Like, you know, we pointed out a couple things with Eberflus. I mean, I could dive in. I think he should have called a challenge on that one throw to Terry McLaurin. Even whatever.
We keep talking about Eberflus, though. We're just beating a dead horse. Like, what are we?
Because I feel like
are we really going to fire him after this season? I mean,
I hope so, but I don't think everybody
really the
does.
plan? I think it begs the question even more so. Is it really time to start talking about firing the head coach? We could all speculate that we should have fired him, but at this point in the season, we have got to just buckle our asses down, strap in, and get ready for this second half and see what happens.
We all agree with that. Paulski agrees with that wholeheartedly.
I want to change the subject, and just to get off the negativity, I want to ask you guys, and I'm starting with you, PJ, because you are the conveyor of optimism on this channel. What were some good things that you saw out of this game?
I love the fact that our defense gave up no touchdowns in the red zone. We held them to 3 field goals, I believe. Four.
It was 12 legitimate points and a 6-point Hail No Mary.
4 field goals. I think even with missing 2 of our starting defensive backfield, we still play pretty decently. So the defense. So that's one of the things that would concern me if we was to move on from Eberflus is where does the defense go? Do we got to regress? Do we now rebuild and all these other things? So yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. Swift show why we signed him. I think in space he's a real weapon. I mean, he's not so good necessarily between the tackles, but you get him on the outside, he got some breakaway speed. Something that David Montgomery, as much as I like David Montgomery never had the breakaway speed like that. So Swift does have the breakaway speed. As far as, the passing game just wasn't there. So I can't really honestly speak positively about that. But in spite of the challenges, we still persevered, grabbed the lead, and put us in a position to win.
You were saying that like you were eating a cold breakfast.
Well, I mean, because I am concerned with the whole thing about, Eberflus and replacing him and all these other things, because, I get the fact that Ben Johnson is a brilliant offensive mind. I don't know if he can lead a football team. I don't. I don't know if he can bring in the right defensive coordinator. Don't know that, because that's the thing you got to, those are the things you got to consider when replacing a head coach, all these other factors. That's why I say with Eberflus, everyone was talking when Justin was here that the problem is the quarterback. The problem is the quarterback. The problem is the quarterback. So therefore, we never looked at what was a head coach doing. Is a head coach what we need? No, we're not thinking about the head coach because Justin is a problem. Justin is the problem. And now we're finding out that, in critical situations, can Eberflus coach this team? Can he make the right timeout? Can he do the right things? Can he call the right plays? So that's why I said earlier, I have to give him time because now the focus is on him. Whereas before he had that scapegoat and Justin over there. Because every time something goes wrong, Justin's fault. Yeah, I know, he ran the ball real good, but he's not a passing quarterback. We need a passing quarterback. And lo and behold, Eberflus, we're not paying attention to you. Now the spotlight's on you, sir. What are you going to do? So you have now the ball in your court, and you're going to show us whether or not you're that guy. And you don't have to be perfect. I don't expect him to be perfect. I don't expect no one on this team to be perfect. But I expect us to be able to improve. So from this game here, learn from what you did wrong, improve upon it, Coach Eberflus. Take accountability for it, and let's move on. As far as the other guys, same thing. I mean, the linemen who are not blocking correctly. I mean, even Amagachi, you're a rookie, sir. I'm not going to come down hard on you. I get it. You missed training camp. I saw some glimpses of you, but let's improve it. But Shorty and I talked about this before. That's why we should have been playing him all along because he missed some our training camp. He should have been in there somewhat getting some plays here and there to get comfortable. Now when you actually need him, you throw him out there, and he missed some blocks. He did miss them. I've seen a lot of miscommunication where the line shifted to the right when they should have shifted to the left, and he's picking up the wrong man. All these things are communication things that can get worked out, but again, that comes with being out there playing. So I'm somber in the fact that I'm not going to sit up there and say, again, replace everybody. I'm not on that bandwagon. I'm not saying replace anyone. I'm saying let's see where we're at because we have a rookie quarterback. We have people who are actually now taking a real look at Eberflus. We're really looking at him now and saying, is this a guy or not? The 2 previous years, they weren't even looking at Eberflus. Everybody's like, oh, the defense is great. He's a good coach. But now we're actually seeing whether or not he really is a good coach.
A good head coach.
Yes, correct.
Yes, I think that's well said because when you get into the rinse and repeat cycle of firing, hire, it's like I was saying, like,
right,
fire, get new quarterback, get head coach, fire head coach, get new head coach, cut quarterback, fire head coach. Like you can't just keep on this cycle, right? So can you? Is there allowed to be a learning curve? I guess when you are talking about a first-time head coach, albeit all the years he has experience coaching on all different levels, a head coach is different, as we all know, or not really know for sure, but we understand, I should say. So I don't know. Where do you feel on that? I'm kind of like piggybacking off of what PJ just said, Foster. I'd like to know your thoughts on that because makes a good point.
No, it absolutely totally valid points, man. I mean, it's right down the line. You bring up. I was reading the chat and listening to PJ, and I'll just shoot for some more positives in this game because we're always hankering on the negative. The stuff that Caleb was able to overcome at the end. Samuel mentioned it. Look what Roma Dunze did this game. It looked like he's taken another step in a good direction with getting separation and learning to play in this offense and to hopefully become one of the big target in our offense. Him and DJ. It's going to be them too eventually. We know that. And then the detractor, because we've been talking about it for 2 years. You got to have the personnel to execute the plays, whether the plays are great or not. You still got to execute. I go back to I just remember Tevin Jenkins standing there going, "We're executing the plays at some point." But then I look at the line, I'm like, the fixes haven't worked. These polls. Pace kind of fixes for the line haven't worked. And we, like we said, we throw out that first year, but last year and then this year, it's not enough. I mean, they're better. Yes. The depth is better. At least we've got, I don't even know if I could say that at points, man, after this last game with some of the problems we were having at tackle. I try to stay positive with it because I've been watching this crap for a long time, man. I just think that they can overcome what they have to do. I mean, they have to. I'm going to shut the fuck up because I'm going to get really aggravated if I start thinking about.
I know. Well, I'm just wondering why not put the best offensive line people on the line at the same time? That's Bill Murray. That's if
he's
Braxton
out,
Jones
he's hurt.
If Jones is injured, you got Bill Murray, you got Tevin
Do you want to
Jenkins.
talk about that?
Murray's
I can
out.
show you some news on that.
Murray's out, dude.
Bill Murray is on the IR. Here,
Yeah,
let's
he's
do
out for
this.
4 weeks.
Let's get to a little bit of news
Paulie
on that.
didn't get the same. Wait,
Yeah,
Paulie didn't get the
just
answer
real
here.
quick. I'll just real quick. It's like you guys remember 2018 with Cody Parkey.
Yep.
He's dinking those field goal posts along the way, but we're winning games. All is fine, guys. You're saying no one's paying attention to him, but no, it's out there. It's obvious. I mean, PJ, I was paying attention to him. A year ago, I was saying, yeah, we should probably move on from both. And that's why I said I'd rather be a step ahead. I don't want to continue this cycle either. I hate this merry-go-round of draft a quarterback, fire a head coach. That's why we should have done both. We're already late. What you guys are saying is right. There is no other choice but to ride this thing out with Matt Eberflus right now.
Yep.
So there is no fire him right now. That's not going to happen. But big picture, do you really want this stuff to double doink you in the playoffs? Because if you're saying let's learn from this mistake. We've had 3 games last year with an over 95% win percentage that we wound up blowing and losing. We're repeating that.
And who
now.
did we blame? Who did we blame?
Listen, it's an overall failure if it keeps repeating.
Lions.
You know what I mean? There's plenty of blame to go around. But PJ, you're right. Listen, I'm not saying that there was no upgrade available over Justin Fields. There was.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is
Caleb deserves his fair share of the blame for being empty for 3 quarters. I'm sorry. What were you saying, PJ? PJ, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Hold on a second.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, Caleb deserves his fair share of the blame. Just like we blamed Justin Fields for those losses last year, Caleb definitely messed up the first 3 quarters here. That's still on him. He did clean it up at the end. He is a rookie. He gets the benefit of the doubt. The coaching, this year 3 now?
Yeah.
It doesn't, in my opinion.
The point I was trying to make, Paulie, is last year when we was having these hiccups against the Denver game and the other games, all of the focus was on what our quarterback did not do. That was the main focus. Everybody kept talking about the quarterback. No one looked at Eberflus and spoke out openly and consistently about him.
I did.
So that's what I'm saying. So now that we're in a situation again where it's a situation, and instead of now we're looking at where we should have been looking at him last year as well as the quarterback, and not just pointing at the quarterback and saying, "Oh, well, with a new quarterback, all the problems be over."
I'm telling you,
that's
I was.
the whole point.
I was.
I was
looking at it that way, and so that's why I'm saying it's like, for me, from at least my point of view, all this has happened is it's now actually come to fruition. I have been on this train and talking about this, and now it just seems like more people are realizing it. But there is no choice here.
Sure, it's on its way to fruition.
We were talking about it last year after the Denver game, one other game, and then specifically when that loss in Detroit, we sat here and we're talking about my first thought of that game. I remember this specifically was they ran the ball to put it in position for kicking, and I'm like, we just lost. I literally said we're up by 12 points or something. We just lost the fucking game because he's playing not to lose. He's not playing to win. So we were talking about, I'm not getting aggravated, Pete. I'm just like, we were talking about the problems with the coaching, but a lot of us, as the year went on, we're like, okay, well, you know what? Flus can get better. We need better. We need some more talent on this team, and maybe a better offensive play caller, because everybody was down on what's his name, who's in the Raiders are doing so great now, huh? But we were talking about it, Pete. We did. We kind of, you know what happened? It kind of got iced and glazed over as the season went on, and we beat the Cardinals. Yeah.
I'm not speaking to anyone individually.
I know.
I'm not speaking to Paulie, Karl, Shorty, or you, Foster, specifically. I'm just saying.
I don't believe you, PJ.
I'm just saying
You're talking to me, aren't you?
the overall.
You
That's
know
what I'm
those
saying.
military
Whenever you
cop
watch
guys.
the whole media thing, the theme was they blame it on Justin, then they blame it on Getsy. Go back to Justin, Getsy. You didn't really hear him talk about Eberflus, and that's what I'm saying. So then, when the off season comes and they get rid of these two guys that were the scapegoats, now we got Eberflus, and now it's like, oh. And again, I'm not talking about you guys here specifically, because I'm listening to the media this week, and I'm hearing all this. Eberflus needs to get fired, and he needs to get replaced. And is it time to start talking? It's like, okay, why wasn't we talking about this last year? Again, not us here. I'm talking about the overall, because all I heard last year was, with a new quarterback, things will be better. With a new quarterback, this will be better. And that's all I constantly heard.
From Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles wouldn't even interview anybody. But I guess what my question to you would be,
me.
What is your confidence in these mistakes that like we witnessed this past week reappearing and biting you in the ass in the playoffs, PJ, when it actually matters?
My confidence is this year we can't do nothing. Again, Eberflus not going to get fired. So if he doesn't learn to take accountability starting now, that's what I'm saying with the whole accountability thing. He has to take accountability on, okay, I messed up on this part. I did this wrong. If he's not doing that, yeah, it will rear its ugly head up if we get to the playoffs, because he's not taking accountability. Because you can't hold Stevenson accountable, and if you yourself are not being held accountable. Be accountable, and then, because here's the thing. Every head coach is going to make a mistake. So he's still going to make some mistakes. It's how do you handle them? And if he's not taking that accountability, yeah, he's doomed to repeat them at some point.
I guess I don't want to be as old as both you guys. Oh, here we go with this. No, there we go. I want to be as old as both you guys and still not have a damn trophy here. Yeah. I guess my timeline for all this is just a little bit shorter than I think it's been long enough. I'm not looking to keep having to learn this. But like I said, you're not doing anything now. You're writing this thing out to the end of the season. But but what I've seen, at least for what I thought change, was I thought that if they get to 9-8, he still can keep his job. Because I thought that would be good enough, even if you missed the playoffs. If you got to 9-8, if you got to 9, but listen, now because of how egregious some of these mistakes are obvious, I think now it's playoffs do or die. And so I think the expectation for that, at least from like what I felt out from the media and everything like that, I think now that's kind of risen because some of these mistakes are pretty obvious. But I felt like if you got to 9-8 but still competed in this division the right way, you know what I mean, had some hiccups along the way, then you could sit there and blame the rookie quarterback and this and that and blah blah blah. If you didn't repeat the same style of losing that you did last year, if you didn't, you know what I mean, then you can sit there and make a case even at 9-8 to keep Matt Eberflus. I don't think that exists anymore, and I think that's what changed here.
I wanted to just add really quick, when you said as old as you were pointing to PJ and Foster. You got to combine 500 years there, all 100 with the Bears. They've seen way more championships than most people in the league have seen, if not all of them. We're second in the league with championships.
When you said you were worried about Foster and you were worried about PJ, I was like, Shorty, I was worried about you, man. These guys have been through it. Come on now.
Yeah.
I think my first merry-go-round with Foster, he told me you wouldn't have survived through the 70s. So these guys have seen worse.
Paul, would you? I would have loved to seen Paul in '69 when the Bears went. Was it '69 or '70? 1-13.
I don't have any more.
1-13, Paul. That's worse than every season. The last any 5. It was worse than any of them. And so was 69 to 76, man. It was terrible.
Can I share a personal story with you guys real quick? Lighten the mood real quick for a sec. This is the anniversary of my hair loss. It happened in one day. I kid you not.
Wait, we got another BCP first. Hair anniversary loss. Another BCP first.
It is the anniversary of my hair loss.
I hope you're taking an audio clip of that, Karl. 125.
25 years old. right? And I had a full head of hair. I have pictures. I can prove it. It was there. And I got the bright idea to go to this Halloween party, and I went as Blue Man, right? So I shaved my head. I painted myself blue. I had drumsticks all night, beating on everything. People would talk to me. I would just look at them stone-faced, not say a word. Had a great night. 4 or 5 months later, I was just like, why isn't it back? It never grew back. It was just done. That was it.
You want anybody wants to be bald man? Go with Blue Man.
11 years ago.
Wow.
It was the last time Paul Ski here had hair.
I'd like to see that picture.
I'll send it to you.
Oh man, I think I remember seeing that picture.
Yeah,
you were actually.
I prove it. I have it for proof.
So you were actually a handsome guy with a head of hair. That's why I told you in one of your. Exactly. When I was in one of your chats, I was like, Paulski's got to get a fucking wig.
Just go to Turkey. $6,000 all-inclusive hair transplant. They will take care of you. Don't you worry about that.
It's kind of funny because, like, my co-host David, he's a good-looking dude. And it's funny because we talked about how, like, when I was younger, I was good-looking, but my ego and my confidence was just super low. And as I've gotten older, it's just gotten super high. Like, I don't really care anymore. You know what I mean?
Then you lost your hair.
Yeah, meanwhile, him, he was like this chubby, nerdy kid with super high confidence. And now he's a good-looking dude with no confidence. So it's funny how that works out. You know what I mean? But whatever.
Just smack him once.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's as we kind of wind this down, get into what you guys think what's going to happen with this next game. Confidence levels.
Can I share some news and potentially talk about the offensive line?
Please do.
Got to that.
I'm sorry.
So Jesus Christ, the injury report. As you can see, Karan is trending in a very downward spiral, along with Braxton Jones. Do not plays throughout the week, and it's no good news. Tevin Jenkins started okay, but Wednesday was a walkthrough. He's also a do not play. My gut is telling me that neither of Karan, Tevin Jenkins, or Braxton Jones will play. Ryan Bates, he's practicing. He's limited. Larry Borum is full go. We're probably going to see some Larry Borum. I'm hoping we see some Ryan Bates. As Foster alluded to, let's take some look at some tweets here. So, Mr. Bill Murray, he tore his pec after 2 plays. He was put on IR. He's gone. On the British Bears show, you guys may have heard, the Bears signed Austin Pleasant. He's just going to be a practice squad guy. I don't think he's anything serious. Outside of the offensive line, Vales Jones has a new home. He's signed with the Jaguars. And Dan Wiederer, as we talked earlier, he's thinking that Tyreek Stevenson could be benched. But that said, I would just be curious what you guys think of the offensive line as far as what the best 5 would be, healthy or not. Or I guess not healthy or not, but knowing the injuries, what do you think we'll see? Bueller?
Bueller.
Bueller.
So who do you got left, man? If we're not going to see Tevin or Jones, you're going to see right on tackle. You're going to see Nate Davis or Pryor.
That was my initial thought, Foster. So the average person might say that your lineup would be Borum, Kramer, Shelton, Pryor, and Wright. My gut is telling me if Ryan Bates is a healthy go. Left to right, left tackle, you'll see Matt Pryor, then Ryan Bates at left guard, Coleman Shelton, Nate Davis at right guard, and Darnell Wright at right tackle. You have to play your best 5, but I'm going to digress and let you guys say what you want to say.
Sorry. I took my words.
Well, I would disagree with that.
You were so limited. Go ahead, Pete.
I think that Borum will start at your left tackle. I think your left guard would probably be Pryor. Center Shelton, right guard Bates, and then your right tackle right. Because
we did see Ryan Bates at right guard in the very first game of the season. So PJ, you are correct.
So my reasoning for saying that is because I don't think they want Davis on the field at all. By them not dressing him last week showed me that they are truly done with him. And the only reason he's on the team is because they have to pay him his $10 million. If they get offered a nickel for him in a trade, they'll take him. They are so done with Davis, in my opinion. That's what I believe, that they are just so done with him. So, yeah, that's who I think their best starting five would be.
Who's going to dress? If you don't have, I mean, if Nate Davis isn't dressed,
he probably dressed. Yeah, he probably dressed. But
yeah,
if they can afford to not play him, yeah, I don't see them playing him.
I'm just not sure Bates is going to play.
Yeah,
the injury is up in the air. He's literally limited. I don't even think he's been activated from IR.
Bates up.
Yeah, he hasn't even been activated, him or Borum.
Your left tackle could either be Borum or Pryor has played it. He played left tackle, I think, 2 games a couple years ago with the 49ers. I think he's got 7 or 8 games that he's played in. No, it's probably 14 games that he's played in and 2 games that he started at left tackle. So, he can't play the position. That's why Poe brought him here, because he's, multi-talented. He can play any one of those 4 positions. But I believe, and just from what we've seen, he's better at guard. Been playing more guard. So it's what do you do and who do you dress?
Can I give you a rebuttal to that?
Go.
My rebuttal to that is, I believe, much like you said, that they like Pryor more at guard. So before they would put him at left tackle, they would put Amagaji back out there if Borum can't go, in my opinion, because I think they really like Pryor at guard.
The vibe around House Halls, PJ, is that Karan's injury is the most serious of anyone.
Right.
It seems like Karan's in worse shape than Braxton Jones.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's not playing.
A calf? Wow.
Something happened. Yeah.
Right? Weird.
No, it's not a calf. It's a bull.
Ha! Nice one, but tis. But yeah, you're right.
Guys, just on a side note, I think it's worth mentioning. I believe this is, you guys do your show on Thursdays, right? So I believe the next time you're on, the trade deadline will have happened, because I do think it's 2 days after this next game. I don't know if you guys have any trade deadline thoughts you wanted to get out there.
It's November 5th, I believe, Paul. Yep. Tuesday.
Yeah.
It is.
Because it just triggered my head when you said Nate Davis. I was like, oh yeah, that's one of the guys I want to get rid of for sure. But you're right. Like, he's better than anybody else you could go out there and get right now and find on the streets, because at least he's more familiar. Like, he's whatever at the back end of that depth, whatever we have left of it, he's better off just being here.
This is my exact thought.
Getting anything from him is...
Well, I would disagree. And I'll tell you why. I would normally agree with Paulie on this one. However, if I'm not mistaken, didn't the Vikings just trade for Cam Robinson from the Jaguars?
Great point.
So there are possible trades that could happen. I'm not saying I know of a player that I'm just saying, because I was of the opinion, like Paulie was, of thinking, you know what, Nate Davis is probably better than anybody we can get. But the Vikings just proved us wrong by being able to go and trade for a Cam Robinson.
And PJ, that deal was downright disgusting. I am so infuriated with the Jaguars. That was like pennies on the dollar. Just a disgusting trade.
We never get deals like that. Never.
Right.
Never.
Right.
Never. We get screwed every time. I brought this up. I don't know if you guys remember. Maybe that was Tuesday, because I started talking about maybe looking at the Panthers line, because they've got a talented line and they're not going anywhere. That might be a potential trade prospect. I was talking about that Tuesday on I think I was on the British Bears.
Maybe in the Raiders scheme, I keep hearing Robert Hunt's name come up. I don't want to trade for Robert Hunt, who's on like a 4-year, $20 million a year contract. Yeah. It's such overblown, and the player, he's bang average.
You're not making any big moves. No.
Yeah.
Question for you guys, because I don't know, so maybe Paulie or Karl, you know this. Is Ja'Tyre Carter a practice squad guy or on the regular roster for the Carolina Panthers?
I have not heard a single thing about Ja'Tyre Carter since the day he was cut from the Bears.
I noticed when we played him, Peach, he wasn't on the field.
Okay, right, because I would entertain the idea of bringing him back if he's on their practice squad. Right. Go ahead and snatch him up and bring him back because he already knows our system.
He knows the system.
The
We can plug him
media.
in. We can plug him in at right guard right away.
The media would light a fire on Hallis Halls for the Bears giving up any sort of capital, draft capital, anything to acquire a player they cut. They would string
I won't
him
say
over the
that, no.
coals.
No.
Can't they claim him off the practice squad?
Yes.
If that's what it is, then yeah,
That's
but you
that's
can't
what
give
we're
up
talking
capital
about.
for
We're not talking about a trade there.
Right.
Okay.
My trade
Yeah,
scenario
practice
was
squad is available.
Is he going to want to come back?
money's
matter?
money.
Yeah.
Money's money.
I'd
and
rather
if
be on a
you're
roster
playing in
than a
the
practice
NFL,
squad.
Yeah. He
if
probably
your
doesn't
money's
care.
money, if you're
Fuck
playing
it.
in the
I
NFL,
like
it's
Jatari
going to drive
Carter.
your next contract up if you're average.
I liked Jatari Carter, so if that's what you got to do, I mean, PJ, I'm in lockstep with you regarding Nate Davis.
Dude,
I don't know if you feel exactly this way. I feel like Nate Davis has lost his love for football.
The day we drafted
So-
Tyree Carter, I had him locked in as a starter by this time of last year, I think, or whatever.
That's insane. Wasn't he a 7th-round pick?
Fifth, I believe. Could have been 7.
Oh, yikes.
Don't hold me for it.
Fifth is not bad. Like
No, you
that's
can draft
not
those guys
nothing.
late and have them pan out, though.
All the time. Look at the Cowboys line. For all them years, man, they
Way
had
more often than other positions, for sure.
they had like what, a 7th rounder, a 5th rounder, of undrafted free agent, a 1st rounder, a 3rd rounder on that line that got them 2 Super Bowls. But they played together forever. That's why.
Yeah, but then that undrafted free agent they got was projected to be a 1st rounder, and he just didn't get drafted because he was up on murder charges.
Undrafted
Yeah.
free agent. It's
Wait, what?
Feels like
Yeah.
a perfect time to shout out
He's
Sam
right.
Hurd.
Yeah, right.
right. And I'm with Chips Ahoy
No.
Boy in the chat. We got other people that are back here again, man. Mutt Greer and
Yeah.
we got a bunch of people stopped in. Chips Ahoy Boy. I
Tony-
don't really see the Bears making any moves unless Poles can pull the right trade for a lineman. It would have to be on one of 3 or 4 teams only that are just ready to dump salary and rebuild. And I started with the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think whatever
That's
moves you
just a
would
hot
make,
mess. Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad though, guys? We're not the Panthers or the Jets.
definitely. Any moves you would make, or they're not going to be high draft capital moves. Like I think
No
the
sense.
most
No
you're playing
sense.
with, your chips on the table are like 5th, 6th, 7th round pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's about it.
Chips on the table like Chips Ahoy Boy, or
Blue
No,
bag
for
only,
us,
brother.
for us adults, it means it's a betting reference. You'll understand.
oh, I'm not a betting man, even though we're
What if-
literally sponsored by BetUS.
But if you
America's
were, you
favorite
should
sports
use
book.
BetUS.
Nah, I don't. I got that one, Shorty. Don't you worry.
But gamble responsibly.
No, that's PJ's line. We're swapping each other's lines. Are we done? Do we want to talk about the predictions for the next game?
Better
Yeah,
to swap lines than spit, as one woman once
Huh?
told me.
I have a question for you guys. I don't know if you talked about this already or not. Because there was so much talk
Yep,
about.
we did. We already talked about that.
Okay.
What an asshole!
Shut up, Dan. It sucks because I can't do anything to this guy.
I bought into it
You
too.
gotta
I was
pay
like,
up.
"Oh, I'm interested. Let me listen to PJ here." You heard me as much as you heard him right there. I was like, "Damn it,
No.
Shorty. That was good though. Good job."
No, what I was going to say was, if with all the speculation that was going on before our offensive line issues about getting a pass rusher, do you still think the Bears are in the market for one?
Not after the Jacob Martin return. I think they're fine.
Yeah, if you remember, even I said before the season, if you guys remember this, I'm not worried about pass rusher at all. We might even have the guy on the team. Do you remember that? Because we were all talking. Everybody.
I don't know,
all of a sudden there
Foster.
was-
I would
all of
like
a
you to
sudden-
find the clip of that.
I'll find it. But all
I
of a
don't
sudden-
believe you, Foster.
No,
I don't believe
before
you
the
either.
season, all of a sudden, there was this big thing where nobody was talking about the offensive line anymore. We got to get a pass rusher. We're short of pass rushers.
Yeah.
Sweat can't be. You remember? And I wasn't worried about that. I'm still more worried about the offensive line. And look at what we got going on with the offensive line this weekend. Same freaking problem for over 2 years, Peach.
But you know,
Heidi!
we did need a pass rusher, but Poles did a really good job in addressing that move with Darrell Taylor in the 6th round. He also traded the Browns a 7th round pick for a guy who's also produced a little bit. The name slips my mind. But what's been nice is these guys have been able to take the most of the opportunity that's been given to them and actually produce from it. So that whole narrative died down early on because we saw the guys that we had that we weren't sure about actually step up in the position. But I mean, but you did need a pass rusher. You just might, like you said, he might
You
have been on the
acquired
team.
one though. We're
Yes,
forgetting
I
Daryl
just
Taylor.
said-
Daryl
I
Taylor
just
is
mentioned
awesome.
him, Ty. I just mentioned him. Just mentioned him. And so
Fucking Karl.
another thing is though is yeah, right,
Blah, blah,
fucking Karl. Another thing is though is I'm also a firm believer in your defensive line can never be good enough.
Right.
However, you look at the position of this team. So I think it actually, to PJ, to answer your question, I think this next game still might dictate some of how they feel. Like if you win and you still inside that locker room, inside that organization, they still feel like they are a playoff team. They're going to make a playoff push, this and that. Then like adding might not be the worst thing. I just don't think you're making like these big splashes right now. And yeah, and that position has proven itself to be fairly okay. I mean, I could see still looking at it though. I don't think it's beyond, you know what I mean, beyond like belief if they do, but definitely the offensive line is what needs more attention if you can do that, right? So,
Well, let me say this in response to you guys' answers. I think that Dexter has shown that the last couple of weeks he really hasn't got any sacks. So I'm wondering about that. As far as Taylor, he hasn't got no sacks since what 3 or 4 weeks. So those are concerning to me. I'm not saying I'm all on board on go ahead and go get a pass rusher. I'm just bringing up the conversation because those two areas where we could have had that help against in this Washington game, those two guys was noticeably missing in my eyes, because that's one thing I pay attention to more than anything else is a defensive line. And I was watching, and yeah, it was disappointing to say the least.
I think that speaks volumes to Slenderman's ability to escape the pass rush. I just want to play my favorite clip. My guy, Josh Blackwell, he almost got a nice nickel blitz sack. If Kyler Gordon was playing, he would have got that sack, but he was able to jump over Josh Blackwell. Before I digress here, I just need to remind you guys, I am confirmed biggest Josh Blackwell meat rider on this ecosystem here.
not surprised.
Some pin pan dogs.
So just the devil's advocate a little bit, and like, even though I don't believe this is going to happen, like if you were to try and make a point for making a big move and trying to go out and pursue someone like Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons or something, then I think one of the things that would come up is, well, hey, you're on a rookie quarterback contract. When can you afford defense? Now. So why you see what I'm saying? So there's that avenue of thinking as well, which I think should be at least considered a little bit. I've thought about that a little bit too, because it does make sense from a financial situational standpoint.
Oh yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Paul. I mean, I know you have to consider the finances, but as Sam Rush is saying here, that those guys, they pretty much gave us fool's gold. They started off the year really hot, and lately, like I said, they kind of like died down, especially Taylor. He's still getting some pressure, but I haven't seen any sacks, and that's why I'm like wondering, okay, when we're going to really need this defense to like come up with that big sack like Sweat did for us.
Yeah, so I think
these other guys, I mean, because Sweat seemed like he's been hurt, seemed like he's like been kind of gimpy. We need another person to step up, and do we need to go out and go get that guy? Or to Foster's point, is Martin that solution?
So that's why, like, you went out and spent, a 6th round and a 7th round pick on these guys, right? So their value for what you've spent on it has probably already been met. Like, they are who they are at the end of the day, right? So we're talking about whether we should just band-aid this and try and see if it keeps bleeding or not, or whether we should just replace it, make sure everything's good and have little concerns, and then put those guys in positions where they don't have that pressure of performing consistently. They just appear in moments where they can shine, like, you know what I mean? So maybe that's what we're seeing now. Maybe we're seeing these Band-Aids falling apart a little bit because at the end of the day, yes, you did pay some attention to it and address it a little bit, but like I said, what you spent on addressing it, it's still all up in the air. Whereas like a guy like Micah Parsons or Myles Garrett or somebody, man, they're performing through the end of the, like, those are top-notch guys, right? So it's a different expectation, but it's a different price. Me personally, I'm not willing to pay for it, but I mean, it goes to also what you did in the draft this past year, right? At the end of the day, we spent 2 top 10 picks on the offensive side of the football. So what that tells me is, yes, you're going to have to lean on the defense early on in the season, but I think the expectation is that shift needs to at least start happening to where the offense takes this pressure off this defense, because that's how you kind of drafted too. Like last year, you also drafted a right tackle in the first round. So like you're drafting offense, it needs to come in to play at some point and win you games. You know what I mean? And so I think we're in that transition now a little bit. And yeah, this Washington game was a bad sign for that. But you know what? But Rome was still out there catching balls. He might actually be more prime for the wide receiver 1 position, as much as I like.
You're
it's
stealing
weird.
my thunder, Paulie.
Yeah, Karl, you brought this up. And I've thought about it since you said this, and it's got.
I'll show you proof too. I'll show you the proof if you want it.
Validity to it when you think about it. Now, DJ Moore is.
Listen,
yes, that's the problem. It's like I want to say, like, I believe you until you prove me otherwise. I mean, he's done it so long so successfully that it's hard to go against it. But at the end of the day, guys, I mean, once again, both you guys will let us youngins know, like, the father time catches up with you, the body starts to hurt and ache and break down. And like, at what point does DJ get there? I don't know. But like, you're not going to keep this up your whole career.
It's not that situation right now, Paulie. I just think in the short term right now, DJ Moore and Montez Sweat are playing hurt.
I understand you guys' point. I do. But that catch that DJ Moore made when he got hurt, that to me shows right there, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that when you need someone to catch that guy, that ball, he's your guy. I mean, I think Rome can get there. I just don't know if he's there yet.
PJ, my exact point regarding Rome Odunze is this. When you look at the All-22, which we said we weren't going to do because it's too heartbreaking, Rome Odunze is either the second or the third option more often than not. And Rome Odunze is getting separation. If he's the first read, he's getting the ball. He's getting 10 catches a game for 150 yards. His production is going to spike, and it's going to look like a top 10 pick. He's just not being utilized like that, and I don't know why.
Better corners.
I can answer that question for you.
Better corners.
Sure, you're not wrong, but still, let him have his shot.
I can answer that.
My 8 lives have never seen the Bears, because I alluded to it before when I said we know it's going to be DJ and Rome there in the future. So what a great problem for the Bears to have for the first time in their history, where they've got 2 potentially number 1 receivers on any team.
The problem with the great problem is that they're not getting passing yards because the players in their current positions, they're just not getting the production. I think Rome needs his shot.
Well, the problem is DJ is getting
the offensive line.
DJ is getting number 1 attention. Rome is not. So you start putting the number 1 corner on Rome. I don't know if you're going to have that same type of separation that you're speaking of. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I believe Rome will eventually get there. But for right now, even with their number 1 guy on him, DJ is still getting separation. And he's making that catch. He's not dropping the ball. I mean, he's making catches that it's like that catch Sunday where he got hurt. The average player or most of the other players would have dropped that ball. But he maintained the catch, laid on the ground hurt in spite of. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think Rome is there yet, but I do see him getting there. He's just not there yet for me.
Yeah, and PJ, and that's a great point. And like, you will expect him to be there at some point because you picked him at number 9, right? So yes, It's still very early on. Sure. He's shown a lot of potential though. And so maybe the idea is, and I'm not saying like I'm a huge advocate for this or anything. I think DJ Moore's my number 1, I don't know, 90 out of 100 times, but I'd still, those 10 out of 100, I'd still consider just the thought of like, okay, so if you do have Rome at number one, like it's still even like imagine DJ Moore against worse corners. Like imagine him in a slot. So like what I'm saying is his production might actually increase in a different position, potentially, maybe. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm the best, schematic guy out there and whatever. I'm just saying that's something that's worth at least considering and talking about and whatever. And it also says that Rome is getting to that point where he is up for the next step. And I think we're kind of seeing that here. So
we haven't heard a lot from Mr. Shorty.
I'm just talking Spanish to Heidi in chat. Go ahead, guys.
Man, my daughter.
I speak fluent Spanish. Week, right? Ja. No, I'm done.
Heidi's our guest next week. She's ready to come on the show, right, Heidi?
Yeah, I'm trying to ask her that.
We're like the Bears. We talk about our private affairs in public. I love it.
I saw a little a video today of I have a 2-year-old, so based off the stuff I look up, it recommends certain videos. So sometimes I get videos of kids and stuff like that, and it says family teaching this kid how to count to 5 in English and Spanish, right? So they're like, okay, count to 5. He goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're like, good. Now do it in Spanish. It's like, run, true, 3, 4. It was great. It cracked me up.
Do you mean like this? Are they speaking Spanish right there?
That's let the body score by drama.
So my brother goes into a restaurant and they give him a number, and the number's 325. And the guy's Hispanic and he's calling out the numbers, and he never hears the number, but he hears 335 like 6 times, and he finally goes up to him and asks him. He goes, and the manager walks over. Because every time he said a number, it sounded like the same. Like you couldn't tell what the number was, blah, blah, blah. And so he goes over to the manager, and the manager goes, yeah, he called that number like 3 minutes ago, and a lady walked out the door with your order. Because the guy it was supposed to be like 345 or 344, so he'd go, take 45.
Would you like to stroke my pussy, darling?
That's great. That's perfect. Somebody just took complete advantage of an opportunity.
Yep.
His order might be better than mine. I ordered 1 cheeseburger. That's probably I'm betting that bag of food is more than mine. What's interesting, guys? I was in the Netherlands and we went to a Burger King and they call out the numbers too. And my uncle's like, man, like we were in Rotterdam. He's like, this place is ass backwards. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, when they call out your number, it's in whatever language they speak. I forget now, Dutch, I think. He's like, they call it out 320, 300. They won't call it 323. They'll call it 320, 300.
Wow.
Yeah, right? It's like, what?
It's like a literal translation
How they say it.
For the English version of the number, man.
320, 300. Wow.
It's just weird, man. It's just weird.
That is.
Living on AI.
Heidi's responding to me in Spanish and saying, excuse my typos. as I type what you're saying into my translator.
What? She got it right. Si, Senora Shorty. Nobody caught it?
No, she said Senor Shorty.
I know.
Never
mind. I can't even pull myself, man.
Semanaparaxima. Does that mean she's going to join us next week?
I got it, Foster. It made me chuckle. I got it.
Foster said he can't even pull himself.
I'm gonna have to start sending him a fucking check just for the shit that I do.
You guys want to know
$22 or whatever it is, man.
You guys want to know how to offend me? Like my last name's Walkelinski, and everybody's called me Ski my whole life. But my mom is Walkelinska. That last letter changes if you're a man, male or female. So if you said Ska, you'd be calling me a little B. You know what I mean? A little bit. So, yeah.
I gotta tell you, on my mother's side, this is funny. This actually happened.
Just pull him, Peach. Can you pull him? Sorry. Gonna be, dude. I'm sending you a check every month because I can't do this. Can't put up with this crap.
My God.
You see, the crap I put up with here, Paul.
So on my mother's side,
I'm breaking.
My grandfather's last name was Wally, and his wife, my great great grandfather's last name was Wally. He married a Willie. So my great grandmother Willie married the Wally, and she went from a Willie to a Wally. It's just changing one letter. It's just changing one letter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just funny. That's kind of like what you were saying about your last name.
It is. So, like, for me,
like
it's
changing
weird.
two letters.
For me, it's weird because, like, my daughter should be Walklin-Ska, but the state won't allow it. It wouldn't even allow my wife to be Walklin-Ska based off my tradition. She had to copy my last name, be Walklin-Ski, which is the male version of my last name. And if she wanted to change it past that, she'd have to just fill out like a change your last name form, not a marriage license. Like the marriage form would not do that for her. And so because of that, even my daughter has to copy my last name. It's weird, man. So, it's funny because it's like, well, I don't know. You'd think that with all the stuff and issues we have going on in this country, that would be the last of their problems. But no, straight up, like they just don't allow it because it's just, it's
two different names.
Yeah, it's two different names, right? But in other places, it's tradition. It's weird.
I mean, I actually understand your tradition of having a ska versus a ski. That makes sense to me. I mean, so I'm with you. I would agree. I would agree that they should change that because that's your actual heritage. So, yeah.
If we felt strongly enough about it, we could do it. But whatever. Fuck it.
Nobody
I didn't know that though.
Nobody in this country knows that shit, Paulie. Except now you're telling them.
Well, because the style of language here is completely different. I mean, English is extremely broken, but like a lot of different countries, and even Spanish follows that ella, ayo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Him and her. Like it's just one letter difference that changes masculine to feminine, and so a lot of languages follow that same style. And because
given today's climate,
exactly,
I can see why they won't do it now. Jeez. I mean, America won't do that for sure now. They'd be like, no, because just in case he would have changed his gender, so we're gonna leave him this way.
Exactly. So it's a completely different. I'm with you, but it's a completely different thought process, like from the core. You know what I mean? So it's just. It is
well, here's another thing too. Is in this country, one of the biggest things they always put on a profile for a person, whether it's your Social Security or whatever your banks, even this, they're going to ask you your mother's maiden name all the time.
Yeah.
So they want it to be consistent. Like I just had a thing the other day and I couldn't remember something for my bank account, man, because I've just been so insane. She goes, okay, hold on a minute. She's like, what was your first dog's name? Blah, blah, blah. What's your zip code? What was your first car? And what's your mother's maiden name? And as soon as I spell out my mother's maiden name, it doesn't even matter what else I said. They just go right to it because that's one of the things with this country. That's how it works. Credit systems.
While Shorty's still typing away in Spanish, if I could share another little experience from my trip. In the Netherlands, it was really interesting. They are so huge on bikes. Like my uncle drove me past the school and there was like 500 to 1,000 bikes. He's like, yeah, every kid's got one. And so the bikes take priority over everything. So it's like there's a sidewalk, a bike path, and then the street. If you are in the bike path and a bike hits you, it is your fault. The bikers have priority, period. And so it's really interesting, but it was super like cool to just see all these people. Like you have like people Foster's age still biking around. It was like,
wait a second.
They're only worth 2 points though, Paul. The younger they are on bikes, the more points they're worth. That's the only difference.
Right. No, but I'm serious. Like everybody out there was like active, and it was very like.
Did they wait, Paulski? Were those people out at night?
They were not
I
700
didn't
and something
venture
years
out
old.
much at night.
So you only
But,
you can confirm you only saw them during the day, huh? Okay. And they look like Foster. Okay, that makes sense.
Do they have a lot of scooters over there? You know what I mean by
Yeah.
scooter? Those things you stand up on. What are those things called?
Yeah, like a scooter essentially. I know what you're talking about.
Wait. I got another good
Hover
question.
around? Is it not hover around?
You know, there's a lot of electric powered stuff. There's a lot of harnessing electricity, solar panels everywhere, electric ovens. You know what I mean? Very resourceful, very reusable energy. Everybody's out there on bikes. Like, you know, it's weird coming back here and you want to go to the gas station 3 blocks away, you drive. Like, it's just that doesn't exist out there. You know what I mean? And then the other cool thing about Rotterdam and Amsterdam and just the Netherlands in general is they're under sea level. And in I believe in the 1500s, they flooded extremely. And it was the Turkish that came and helped them rebuild and build all these canals everywhere. So they're full of canals everywhere. Like, we walked 3 minutes from my uncle's house and fished for northern pike. It was really cool. And so literally it's more canals than there is like street lights. So you're better off saying go three canals down, like cross the next 3 bridges and then go left, rather than say go to the next light and then go left. And so that was really cool as well, just because of how much, I don't know, nature is out there and things like that. It just felt very different. People had like a little canal running out behind their backyard. And some people had boats to go to work.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was weird. It was cool.
And the first thing that you did when you got there, the first thing you ate was fish and jello?
Actually thinking about doing fish and spaghetti.
Shorty, the first place I went to was the farm town that my dad's from, right? Like,
and jello, I knew it.
And then when she made breakfast in the morning on the breakfast table, I saw a little plate. I think it was chicken and jello, but it was something in jello, and it was on the damn table. And I swear to God, I thought of you guys. My second day of vacation, I was like, "This has to be." It was just there. It's part of it.
BCP will get you anywhere in the world. We will.
Oh, that's a good soundbite. 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
Yeah. So
that's 2 hours and 2 minutes, man.
I'll say this though. The scariest thing for me is when you're below sea level and you have to look up to see the water. Yeah, I seen a picture of New Orleans before the flood and how people was walking on whatever that's called, what is that, Beale Street or something in New Orleans, and in the distance you'll see the Gulf being higher than what they were, but he being held back by a levee. That was just so scary to me when I saw that. I was just like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way could I do that. So I've never been to New Orleans, and no, I don't plan to go.
Did you drive a Chevy to that levee?
And the levee was dry.
Right. You know, PJ, and that's the interesting thing. It's like, it's the difference in just the governments even and the whole ideology there. Like, here we're willing to build up, you know, skyscrapers in a place in Florida that gets hit by hurricanes, and they can go, well, we got $50 billion worth of damages because we try and make money cycle round and round in this capitalistic system. Over there, they're socialists, so they have to be a lot more efficient with their spending and things like that. So because of the way the Turkish rebuilt them and helped them rebuild in like the 1500s, they didn't rebuild thinking like, oh, let's not flood again. They're rebuilt with the idea of we're going to keep flooding. So they have all these canals in order to be able to massively move water out and stop floods from happening. So it's all with an idea, and it's worked. They haven't, you know, they've had storms. It rained a lot over there, but they're able to manage it and move it and take care of it. And what else? Another thing I learned is because of that, for the last 500 years, anybody born in Turkey, if they want to be a citizen of the Netherlands, they just fill out a piece of paper and they're like, yeah, you're good because we still owe you.
Like, so they don't have basements over there.
Right? I'm reborn.
No basements. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was interesting. It was just
Paul,
different.
do they got paneling over there? Do they got paneling over there? I just got to know.
How about the stupidest question I ever asked somebody?
Foster, They don't build with wood either, so they build with metal and all that shit.
I'm literally driving with Chris Watts, and I'm like, we're going to have pizza. I'm like, you have pizza over there in the UK? His answer was just absolutely fucking priceless.
Guys,
of course we have fucking pizza.
I went to Poland for a
asshole.
week, and then we went to the Netherlands for a week, and this was the first time I go like every 5 years to Europe, back home and whatever. But this was the first vacation that I felt like my wife could have done it without me. Could go speak English, not a lick of Polish. Everybody knows English, period. Just get by. It's whatever. At the cash register in Rotterdam, they said something to me. I was like, huh? Excuse me? And she just repeated it in English. It's different. It's changed. It's so easy. So
Heidi, thank you so much. We love you, Heidi. So I was trying to speak to you in Spanish on the side there in chat. So do you want to join us next week? I didn't understand your answer. Poquito español. Guys, let's get into our predictions for this coming week here. Bring back Karl into the show. I don't know what happened to Karl.
I just pissed off. That said, I've got your roster. You guys can point out whatever you would like. What you're seeing on the screen is just the snap percentages of the players that played in their last game. So, of course, Bears offense and defense versus the Redskins. Cardinals offense and defense versus the Dolphins. And then these are the inactives last game. You'll see that they've got some rookies on IR. Not on IR. They were inactive because they were injured. They play a 3-4 front. And then...
Two screens on? Sorry, Karl.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Blue.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like transparent, so that's
Okay.
maybe something I have to fix, whatever the case
No,
is. But
I'm just asking because I didn't.
Foster's eyesight.
I will let you guys discuss your predictions, and I will try and poke through to prop up any sort of arguments you guys may
No,
have.
on my
Take it
screen,
away.
I meant the whole screen is blue and the writing's blue and black, so I could barely see it. That's all I meant. So I don't know if it's just my. Shut up, Foster.
Yeah, no, we got some white in there too, Foster. So it might just be what you're
No,
looking at.
there we go. Okay, so I did whatever. I did something wrong, dude. Now it's fine. It's like
Shorty,
normal.
you responded to that
Like
chat a
normal.
long time ago. Yeah, if you guys have predictions in the chat, obviously, please, I will do my damnedest to make sure that I document that.
Do you
And I'll put it
have-
up on the screen at the end?
You have the predictions from from 2 weeks ago.
No, not against the Redskins. You do. You wrote them down because
Yep.
there was something going on, and I never got to document that.
I got them right here.
Well, I don't think we want to revisit that. If you want to be true to the chat, you should. But whatever the case is,
Scottish Bear got the Cardinals beating the Bears this next week.
thanks, PJ. Yeah, Scottish, Hair Bear, and Heidi. I've got your predictions. I'll write them down right now.
Well, mine's insane. I forgot what I said. 37.
37-15 Bears. You said, Foster.
Yeah, I said that Tuesday. It's
Oh.
on here too. I went to make sure it was the same.
Yeah, I wrote it down, Foster. Thank you.
I can say this for the record. If the Bears do lose this game this week, I will be really concerned about their ability to make the playoffs.
Do you think that the Cardinals are severely worse than the Redskins?
Yeah,
I don't think they're necessarily really worse. I just think that they're a tier below the Redskins because honestly, I didn't.
You think they're a tier below?
Sure.
Yeah, I didn't think the Redskins was as good as they were. I really did.
I don't think that they're very good.
Look at who the Cardinals have played, and look at who the Redskins or the Washington Natives have played.
See, I feel like that's more offensive than just calling them the Redskins. Again, we have evidence on this channel that fans of the Redskins want to be called the Redskins.
It's true.
That's why I'm saying it. Just like our starting quarterback called them the Redskins. I'm not
We
trying to be
talked
rude.
about this. You wanted to start calling them the Redskins collectively.
They are
and
the Redskins. I'm not trying to
somehow-
be an asshole.
They
I'm
are.
following the leader. I'm following
They
leader
are,
Caleb on
I'm
this.
just saying. Somehow I keep saying Redskins from that point on. I
Because
don't
they're
even know
the
why.
Washington Redskins.
I'll
Be
say
aware.
this.
Cleveland Indians.
Um,
Same shit. I'm sorry.
Paulie last week in chat, he did point out when we were making those predictions that we were wrong in predicting the Bears to be 2 touchdown or more favorites. And again, I didn't know much about the Commanders. I didn't know much about them. And because I didn't know much about them, I assumed because of the 2-game winning streak we were on that we would be able to handle them. And to my surprise, Dan Quinn has those guys playing. He had he has them playing. I mean, we can say whatever we want, but he has those guys playing, and I give credit when credit's due. And the poise that their quarterback showed surprised me. I'm telling you, it surprised me. I was really surprised.
Yeah, PJ, I don't know if I ever really called people out for being wrong, rather than just share my opinion and say I disagree. Here's what I think. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily remember that correctly, but like 2 touchdowns does seem like a lot. However, I thought it was going to be a closer game. I saw the Bears winning, but we were in position to definitely be able to win this game by 2 touchdowns. That's not a far stretch from the truth. So I mean, I can see why. Your opinion and your thought could have definitely played out if the offense had played it all in the first half. So
I'm going to dub this game the gut fumble instead of the butt fumble.
Oh, that's great.
Shane Waldron said that the problem with that play was the handoff, which he means he's pointing the finger at the quarterback, which I don't know if I disagree with.
I believe if they score on that play, that we have so much momentum that on the next series, the defense turns the ball over and we score again.
What happened after the Disney fumble? Well, they stopped them. They went 3 and out, and they went back and scored a touchdown.
My question becomes:
it's just a fancy thing. It was a stupid play call, but it didn't end the game.
What was his hands like? Kramer. If you notice,
Kramer had it correct. He had his left hand up on the side where he received the ball.
It was Caleb's fault. Caleb handed it
to What I'm saying is his hands were too far apart. That's what I'm saying. Because if you looked at it, his hands was kind of like this, waiting to receive the ball. And it's like, you got to bring them a little bit closer together in order for you to be able to clamp down on it. When it's this far apart, you got on tape, you got on wrist guards, you got on all these things. It's hard for you now to come down and clamp down on it in a timely manner while going forward into that stout line. So I'm not trying to point fingers, but I just did notice his arms was really far apart with his hands being so taped up and wrapped up. So it's hard to get a feel.
Yeah. So he definitely had his hands
2 to 3 inches bigger than the diameter of that ball and no bigger than that.
Mm-hmm. So Karl was on Bearski Film recently. And we kind of brought this up and we I asked him the question like this.
Karl, you whore.
Such a whore. It's great. If you're playing the Patriots and Tom Brady's under center and it's 4th and 1 and they line up to the line, what are they doing?
Quarterback sneak.
Wait, you don't mean they're putting in their backup offensive lineman and as fullback and handing it off to him, PJ?
Paul, what's so funny about that is that Mike Vrabel has multiple touchdown receptions. They were gonna quarterback sneak, but they were known to get cute as well.
Moments. Did you earn that? You earned that. You play checkers first. Just give it to the damn running back.
Well, the damn defense against the Redskins sure as hell played checkers and chess. They held the Redskins to 12 legitimate points.
Did any of you guys hear what Bill Belichick said?
The good teams win those games.
No, TJ, I missed it. I missed it.
The really good teams.
What he said was, you don't want to put your offensive lineman in a position to do something like that. You can throw the ball to them when they're wide open, because if they miss it, they just miss it. You don't put them in a position to try to take a handoff. So you'll see him take a pass of Vrabel or someone like that, but he's not handing the ball off to him, is what he said. He said he'll make a pass if they're wide open like that, but other than that, no handoffs to him. No.
And then just on top of it, further along in the game, when it mattered even more, and they were in a similar situation, what do? Handed it to Roshan, got the damn touchdown. I'm just saying, you could have done that the previous time and maybe had the same result. I think it would have had a better chance of giving you that result than trying to get cute thinking you're smarter than everybody else in a clutch moment, in a clutch time. Like, just play checkers here.
You use him as the fullback and hand the ball to Roshan running right behind him.
Let the players lead this team and let them go out there and do it. Just make it obvious. Just go out there and get it done.
Yeah, I didn't even agree with that pass before the touchdown to Roshan with throwing it to DJ. Was it on the fade? You stopping the clock. I mean, I would have ran it.
No, that play was used to run clock. They used that play to run clock, PJ. Because they knew they were going to have a goal line handoff, so them lobbing it up to DJ was just to burn an extra few seconds. I believe that was on first down.
2 goal line handoffs. You hand it off. If you don't get it.
He essentially threw the ball out of bounds.
Then why do that, though?
Karl? Maybe they think that they were going to score. Maybe they thought that whatever handoff they were going to run was a guaranteed score. I felt like the throw to DJ Moore was quite simply to burn clock.
No, they're
after you. So you again. I'm not trying
to
be
fade argument. Pass in the end zone is not getting cute by any stretch.
I just think it doesn't make sense if you fumbled a handoff before in your last previous series or 2 series before that. You fumbled the ball, so you fumbled the ball. Now you want to pass the ball to stop the clock because you don't want to run the ball because you know that you was going to score. I don't
know if the clock was running or not at that time, so it's hard for me to really disagree with you or
the clock
add
was
to this
running.
Conversation.
They threw the ball, and that's when the clock stopped because of the incompletion. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you're down at the 1 yard line.
Didn't this all happen when they were down like 12-0?
Not nothing. No. 12-7. 12-7.
I thought it was 12-0.
No.
Then what was the game? What was the leading score? Was that Roshan?
No, that was the second one.
The second
one? No, that's what I mean, the second.
Yeah.
Because the Bears scored 14 points, right?
Right. No, they scored 15. But yeah, the point is when Kramer fumbled the ball, the Bears didn't have anything. They had 0. Bears had 0.
What was the play before that?
DeAndre Swift rushing for like 60 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, so he was the one who scored the first touchdown.
The first one. Then the second opportunity was at the goal line when you got cued.
Right, so whether the clock was running or not, they just ran the play to DJ Moore to burn more clock.
The end of the game, though, the third one was the one where they give it to Roshan at the end, and I think that's what we're talking about.
But I'm confused about most
but
gentlemen.
Like, you had your timeouts, so you didn't need to stop the clock. You could have ran the time down, called a timeout, and said, game's on the line. We either score and win and go home, or we don't. Like, that was a possibility, for sure. And I think a lot of coaches would elect to go that way when the momentum is in your favor. When you've done nothing all game and all of a sudden you're rolling, then I think you're more likely to put it into a situation where it's do or die, score and go home, or don't, and live and die with that rather than leave 25 seconds on the clock. So I get what.
Yeah, so they had their timeouts, right, Paulie? So what they could have done is they could have gotten the ball, whatever it was, get the clock to like 10 seconds, whatever the math would be to run 2 plays. Run the first play, you get stopped. You still call a timeout, you still have 2 more timeouts. Do it again, you stopped. Okay, you can play one last play and run it in. And if you score before then and there's still time on the clock, you could essentially squib kick the kickoff so that they were forced to return it and it burns the clock there.
Yeah, and what would happen is
there's so many ways that they could have handled the end of the game. What I'm confused about is
you would just be worried about the sidelines at the end if they got the ball because they have no timeouts. So you would have.
I thought we were.
Sorry.
I thought we were talking about the Cardinals, but I'm going to digress. However you guys want to handle it.
Oh my goodness, Scottish Bear! Happy birthday, Scottish Bear! And he's watching the show from the hospital. Man, sorry to hear that.
Ouch! Sorry, man.
Hope we're at least entertaining.
I hope you're doing well, Scottish. I know you shared that information with us.
Wish you the best,
happy
Scottish.
birthday. I hope you're well, man.
Happy birthday, because it could be worse. I just hope everything progresses properly.
Me too.
God knows you can't sleep in a hospital, so you might as well be hanging out with us, right?
PJ, though.
I don't know. I don't know which is worse, dude. I've done both. So,
PJ, like, that's a great point, though, because, like, we went through and we went pretty in depth. We went in on Eberflus, and like my co-host David pointed out 7 things he had written down during the game. that Eberflus could have improved on, and he ranked him from the most, on Eberflus to the least on Eberflus, and that wasn't mentioned, and that's a great point. He kind of just mishandled the whole time situation there in that. Yeah, so you're really right.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. I finally got the pause to segue into the end of the show. I've been waiting for it, man. When are these guys going to shut the fuck up so I can get the show ending going?
Never.
Yeah, what's the score?
We don't do
I have a
that.
closing thought. No.
The what's going to happen this week at the Cardinals game?
Oh, what's going to happen this week? I tell you what, the Bears are going.
Cardinals got some good talent.
Game.
They played
what about
some
the trade
tough games
deadline,
and
guys? What
won.
about the trade deadline?
I just don't see the Bears making any moves unless
I don't either.
I was kidding, man.
Oh,
I don't see a trade happening. I don't see a win happening. I don't see a win happening.
It would be something of like we discussed earlier, it'd be a late round pick for something that could plug a gap.
Oh, I think a win is going to happen.
What?
Because
I think they win.
Not doing it.
Well, because the point I was trying to make, and I never got around to, I guess, because I didn't know much about the Washington team. I don't know much about Arizona as well, so it's hard for me to make a true prediction.
Take a look at the roster, Mr. PJ. Take a look. Offense.
Well, I mean, I
tell me what you want to see.
How well they're playing. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how well they're playing, and truthfully, I don't even know who their head coach is. Who is it?
Wasn't he one of the coordinators from
Indiana, Indianapolis?
Isn't it Melvin Spagnidocious?
Dang.
Are you off the edibles?
What the hell is his name? Melvin Spagnidocious, right?
Okay.
Who the hell is the head coach of this freaking...
The two coordinators from the Eagles who won the Super Bowl, Shane Steichen left for the Colts, and the other one is on the Cardinals, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Jonathan Gannon?
There you go. That might be the name.
That's the name.
And I don't know if he was the offense or defensive coordinator. I really don't know. All I can tell you is that Kyler Murray, according to my fantasy team, is playing just fine. Marvin Harrison Jr. had a blip. Last week, he came out on fucking fire. So if you're going to cover anyone, cover him.
The running back, the tight end has been okay.
Trey McBride's been great. James Conner, he breaks tackles for a living.
Yep, and they got
to tackle him.
Missing another wide receiver that's just had a couple good games.
Jonathan
Michael
Gannon?
Wilson. Michael
There you
Wilson,
go.
probably.
Thank you. So I'm just saying, they're going to be...
Shorty,
this could be as tough a game as Washington, guys. Sorry.
Let me point out the homecoming that Arizona's defensive line has as far as former Bears. As you can see, their starting nose tackle last week was Kairos Tonga. But it doesn't stop there. No, look at their injured reserve. Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols, Angelo Blackson. They're all on there.
Yeah.
What are you looking for, PJ? What do you want to see, sir?
They have Kairos Tonga there?
Yep.
Yeah, look at the nose tackle.
He comes for the Bears.
He was on the Vikings last year, but yeah.
That's what he's talking about, and that's why he brought up the other names.
Yeah, PJ, look at their injured reserve. Justin Jones, Bilal Nichols, and I made a mistake, but it's Angelo Blackson. They're all on the Cardinals. Just those three players are on injured reserve.
All
the cheap, the lower cost fixes that the Bears had, and then there's still a couple guys that I still think they should have kept that they let go. But
I like Bilal Nichols. Man.
Me too. I like Bilal Nichols. There was another name, one of those guys.
Who's the other guy that had two names? I can't remember his name. Two last names.
Well, Roy Robertson Harris is also a great player, but
go.
he's not the player I was referring to. There's
They
one
got
more.
Kevin White on their team. Kevin White's brother on their team.
Kaiser White?
Yeah.
I don't know if Kaiser White's his brother, but he's their starting inside linebacker, along with Mac Wilson.
That's Kevin White's brother?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but sure, I believe you.
Just Googled it. Checks out. Yeah, PJ's right.
One of their starting outside cornerbacks, Sean Murphy Bunting, was inactive last week with a neck injury. I don't know if he's on IR, but their rookie Max Melton did start 100% of the snaps last week, so he might be playing against a rookie cornerback. Rome Odunze in that matchup, give that to me, as Paul says, 90 out of 100 times, if not 100 out of 100 times. Give the rookie a shot, please, God.
97.8.
Dante Steels.
Yeah, their cornerbacks, from what I saw, they're against their matchup with the Packers that I got to watch. They're very suspect. So there's some things on their defense where it seems like there's some blueprints for how to take advantage of these things. And so because of that, and I think because our defense is lights out, we're going to give Kyler Murray a hard time. I think there is a path for our offense to have an easier time here than we did against the Commanders or the Redskins, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, so I don't think this is as bad of a matchup.
Isn't that Darius Robinson? Is he the rookie from Missouri?
Yeah.
That toward the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, so PJ, I didn't realize how high of a draft pick Darius Robinson is. And if you look at their defensive line, like just by name, they only had 6 players for 3 positions. Like, that doesn't seem very deep. Like, I think that they wanted Darius Robinson to be a key part of this team as a rookie, and he got injured, which sucks. And I hope he doesn't play against the Bears because of that, but whatever.
And then Naquan Jones, isn't he a guy from Michigan?
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot? I couldn't tell you.
I believe you are correct, Pete.
Either Michigan or Michigan State. I can't remember.
I don't even know what position Naquan Jones plays.
Defensive line.
And
I didn't put him as a rookie, so I don't know.
And I'm wondering if that Dante Steels, the brother of Devon Steels, who got drafted by the Bengals highly. So that line, I mean, man,
to me, that defensive line looks patchwork, especially with their outside linebackers too. But what do I know?
What was the name? Was it Darius? No, Dante Stills. No, not related. Not related.
Not related to Devon?
Nope.
Okay.
It's Devon Still, and it's Dante Stills. So,
okay.
Yeah, not to be confused with Ben Still, who was brought up from the
Still.
practice squad to replace Darius Robinson, who did not play.
Ben Still might be, because he spells it the other way. They might be those Pete related.
Because I remember, if you remember Devon, he had the daughter, he had the cancer, who would cause him to want to retire early. So I'm saying all this to say this. I guess their defense seems like it might be a problem for us. So my prediction, that's what I'm getting around to, Shorty. My prediction, say Bears 17, Cardinals 16.
What, no super chats?
1 point game, right?
1 point game.
I didn't do that.
All right. Fucking, is that Price or right shit or not? No, I'm joking.
Don't bring that up again.
The only way
That's me having fun tonight.
Hot custard on your spotted dick. Hot custard on your spotted dick.
Don't you worry. Next week we'll be loaded up with some Trump sound bites that'll knock your socks off. I just didn't get around to it this week, and I apologize for that.
If you need me to translate any of them in Polish.
Is this the last day before the draft? I mean, before the election?
Yeah, we said the draft. Which
The
draft?
election.
Trade deadline is Tuesday.
I feel like I'm having a heart attack right
before
now.
the election.
Oh, the election is Tuesday.
It's November 5th. I consider it the NFL
the
trade
same
deadline.
day it's
You might
the
consider it the
deadline.
election day, however you want to handle it.
Who is
It's the deadline voting day.
who is the Commanders playing this week?
Hold on, I can tell you real quick.
I am confirmed biggest Josh Blackwell meat writer
No,
on
I'm not.
this. Oh my God,
Giants.
Shorty's
Washington
brain
versus
rot.
Giants.
Shorty, your brain rot is showing.
Giants, Foster.
well.
We got it. Giants.
That's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure.
Washington.
The mighty Giants.
Yeah.
Division game.
I wonder
I
what
got two
Russell
Washington
Wilson.
players
I wonder what
starting.
Russell Wilson feels about the Giants.
I'm like a little kid on my own show right now. Just, I told you guys in the beginning of the show, I'm just going to rely on you for this shit because I really have nothing to say after this loss, man.
It's like every Thursday, Pete. Nothing's changed 2 years. He's just going to rely on us.
Is that why you invited me? You know I could talk for like 4 hours straight.
That was
Yeah.
you were our
Next
bad
week,
Paulie.
next week on
man.
BCP, special guest Dan Shortino.
What is? Wait, hold on. What is this one,
Would you
Carl?
like to stroke my
Good,
pussy,
Carl.
darling?
Oh, okay.
Do the other one. Do the other one. I like the drill one here. Don't worry. I got it.
People are drilled over and over and over and over and over and over. This
That's what
is
she
your
said.
assignment. You do this.
I fucking love Doug Van Dorn, and I hope he's doing well tonight.
Yeah, DVD. That could have been like plugged in a movie like Stripes or something, man. That over and over and over and over.
Hey, this is my favorite though.
Yeah, I'll have some egg rolls, some tin ping dong, and
I don't know. This one might be my favorite though. This is my favorite.
I'm actually thinking about doing fish and spaghetti.
Yeah,
that's the classic. That predates
That's
even
the fucking-
myself. That's legendary.
This
This
one's
is my
good.
favorite though. This one is my
You
favorite.
got to get AI to add in Jello at the end of that.
Wait, was that an actual clip or did he just say that? How about this one?
Spaghetti, motherfucker, spaghetti.
Yeah. Spaghetti with the sauce. You don't have spaghetti without the sauce.
We've been live for 2 hours and 32 minutes just about, and now we know that's how
man.
long it exactly takes for those edibles to kick in.
Shorty's speaking
man.
Spanish over here.
This is just the show that
He's typing Spanish.
it's like the lost show to me.
so the defense should be okay. We should be able to hold the Cardinals to a reasonable amount of points, I think. Unless
James
somebody-
Conner may be a problem.
Kyler Murray's playing
Right.
really good. But
I think that's the key. James Conner, can you get him on the ground without him causing too much damage?
Yep.
But Paulie, please go ahead.
no, yeah, I mean Kyler Murray's playing really well, but our defense, we have a top defense in this league. Any given Sunday, we could go out there and make a quarterback look bad. I mean, I was saying it with like the Jared Goff thing. Like everybody's still high on Jared Goff, another career year, sure. Yeah, he was having one last year until he faced us, right? And then what happened? So, like, I'm confident that this defense is capable of being able to do its job on a consistent week-to-week basis, even though they botched it last week, whatever. It's still, the players are there, the talent is there. It's just, like I said, we got to start leaning on this offense at some point. So that's more where I'm worried about. And the Cardinals defense does not scare me that much. So it's our offensive line that scares me. I think, if we get a loss, it's going to be kind of like Washington where we lose. They don't necessarily win. That's why, PJ, I like your 1 point prediction. I'm at 22-20, 22-9. Like I'm somewhere with there too, like 1 or 2 points. I don't see much of a big gap, but I think we pull it off. I think we win because our head coach's best ability is to not let the ship sink all the way down. So I think these players have shown they bounce back. I don't know if I'm confident that they will keep doing it, but they have kept doing it. So until they don't, I'll keep believing that they will.
My gut tells me they're pissed. So I got them, Carl, 37-15 Bears.
Foster, this was a game
Everybody's
that both
pissed.
you and I agreed that the Bears would lose. This felt like the trap game, but
We did
unfortunately,
at the beginning of the season.
yeah.
We both have them losing on the chart, right? I know we do.
I can't have the Bears losing after they lost to the Redskins. I think
No.
that the Redskins hopefully will act as the trap game. I'm going to say 23-17 Bears. Again,
All right.
Roma Dunze getting some... Oh, very nice one. That's not even the correct prediction, by the way. But
no, this is this is 5 of us when we took the best out of 5.
No, that's...
I mean, just
no,
flip Jaguars and Commanders.
I don't know about that one. This is what
Flip
I'm feeling.
Jaguars and
What
Commanders.
What are you doing, sire? That's the prediction, man.
Yep.
Yeah, but this was the overall. Based
Oh, so
on,
Shorty
See the
got us losing
collective.
this week.
Look at the collective
Oh.
on the right side.
Shorty got us losing this week. Okay.
Well, they gotta win this week because they'll be 5-3, like I
What?
said.
no, I had him losing against the
No,
Commanders.
It was
Oh,
me
okay.
and Foster saying L. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That
All right.
collective is very
That's
popular.
hilarious. So Shorty predicted this the Commanders' loss in a Super Bowl winning season, and he's devastated by it. This makes no sense.
I'm
he's
devastated
sick of
by
money.
the way
Perfect
we
sense.
lost.
It's Shorty.
It's just funny. That's so Bears. That's so BCP, man. That's so BCP.
Look, I'm only off by 1 game though.
One of a kind, man.
Right.
Well, that's why I said they got to win, because if they win, they beat the Cardinals, they will be
Holy
5
Look
and 3.
at Patrick.
That's what I have them being after they lose to the Cardinals. They're supposed to be 5 and 3.
Patrick, are you a Cardinals fan?
But Shorty,
SpongeBob.
like, you're off 1 win now, but how do you feel about the rest of that prediction? Is the thing, you know what I mean? Like,
Hey, this wasn't our latest.
No,
PJ, they made you redo it. I remember they had you go back and redo it. But I actually appreciated your 8-9 prediction. I had them 9-8. I just felt like those 4 losses in a row away.
You know what, PJ?
I don't think Eberflus would have survived that. But like overall,
I don't know if I have the latest one.
Kind of the same idea. But yeah, you guys made PJ redo it and made him like agree with you guys. With that
No, they ain't making
No, PJ
I
was
saw
the
it
one
for
who said
myself, PJ.
PJ was the one who said he was going to change it.
Yeah.
Because
I just thought,
mind.
as you guys know, I have a problem with the way we start off the season. I just have a problem with that. But where we're at now, I still think we can finish with a above 500 record. This week I really don't know, because the stat that the people keep bringing up this week is Eberflus's road record. His road record is concerning.
That's where I'm at.
And that's why I'm like,
he's got 2 wins on the road.
I mean,
but like, was that England game really a home game?
3 wins.
Yeah, it's not either. It's not a home game for either.
It's a home game asterisk.
It was a home game on paper, you know. So like,
so for me, the whole issue becomes again, where is Eberflus? I mean, can he win on the road? I mean, but like I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, you will come to realize I will pick the Bears every week when we get down to it. But this one, I can see us possibly losing. But I got us predicting us winning because I'm a Bears fan. I'm a homer.
Only one of us is right on so far on that schedule as far as wins and losses. That's you, Karl.
I don't like showing that because it's not PJ's actual prediction, the updated one. So I kind of want to keep it off the screen. Let me just take this time to read off the names that I have for the predictions for the Cardinals game. If you guys have not heard your name, please put your prediction in the chat, and I'll make sure to jot it down. So obviously, besides the panel, I've got Doug Van Dorn, Cliff Victoria, King Buka World, Steve Phillips, Antmas, unfortunately, Ghost of Judah Tribe, Scottish Bear, Hair Bear, Heidi Zimmerman, Samo, and Patrick. And Dan, I don't have your official prediction, but whenever you want to get to it.
If you pick the Cardinals, you're going to get kicked off your own show.
To Heidi. Somebody else was in there Spanish talking about this.
I don't. No, we're going to lose this game.
What?
Shut up, Mr. Super Bowl.
I'm trying to figure out how many points they're going to score because we haven't given up more than 21 yet this season. So
really, we're under 20 except for one. It's 19 or less except for that one freaking game.
It's the 3-14 record on the road. That's what it is.
That shit's done.
But how much of that came from that first rebuilding season? I hate that statistic. You can use these fictitious stats to say whatever you want.
He's 0-3 on the road this year. He's defeated on the road and undefeated at home.
And we lost to a team that ended up, they were in contention, the Colts.
STC, I've got you.
We lost to the Texans, and we know where they're at. And then we lost to the Commanders, and they're in first place.
Charles Johnson, I've got you guys.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean,
F and J2K.
What's up there, J2K? Yeah, Shorty, you're going to have to come on out of that, man.
All right, there it is. There's my score prediction.
What is it?
2018 Bears.
All right.
Now he's pulling a freaking Price is Right crap.
I just pulled a hamstring.
Mine's 21-17. No.
21-17.
We're gonna fucking score 37 points, dude.
What you got, Paulie?
Yeah, like I said, like 22-20. I think Bears pull it off.
22. That's an interesting score.
Yeah.
Quite where are you coming up with that? A safety?
Straight on my head.
Dude, everybody, I got. Where am I getting? What do you got?
You know how these games.
You guys are forgetting it will be a home game in Arizona too.
Oh, I ain't forgot. Trust me. That's why I got us barely winning.
It'll be a double home game, really. The Cardinals are from Chicago.
Yeah. The original Chicago team.
Some of us aren't old enough to remember that, or to have lived through that, I should say.
Can't even put him off the fucking show too. Of you.
Foster was a Cardinals
In
fan
your dreams.
before he was a Bears fan.
That's right. The Morgan Athletic Club. I played there once in 1892. And that's because we bought leftover uniform from the Chicago Maroons.
PJ was in the stands with a lollipop.
And it was Cardinal Red, and that's how we took our name, damn it.
I wasn't a twinkle in my parents' eye yet. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not nearly as old as Foster.
We got AC Adam with 24.
It's only me and God, Peach.
Minister Charles Johnson, 17-14. Eduardo Isaac Rodriguez Eme, 21-17.
I tell you what, that Foster ran around with Adam.
Fuck that, man. Foster is Adam.
Dude, why do you think why do you think everybody's paying for this shit? Because I'm sitting right here still.
He's still that's actually not a pussy stain on his mustache. That's the apple stain.
Nope, that is a Wisconsin pussy-stained mustache. You cannot tell me wrong. Eduardo, I've got you.
Is original sin right here. Original sin.
That's a Wisconsin beer brought pussy stained mustache.
Beer brought. You had to have it come full circle. This show is over. Somebody pull the plug, man.
That is a unique stain there, Foster. That's all I got to say, bro.
This whole time I thought it was nicotine. That's Wisconsin pussy stained beer brought.
And grilled onions, dude. Gotta have the grilled onions.
It's part of the Wisconsin pussy stain.
Grilled onion. That's nuts.
Oh God.
So what was this? What do we got up here now, Karl? That was the Panthers. What about last week, Dan?
Do you know? Oh, it's just the. No, it clearly shows Cardinals, man. It's just the name of it.
Shorty, stop, because I'll keep going if you keep going.
Just dying over here.
You gotta stop.
I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong shit, Karl.
We got more people choosing the Cardinals than ever before this week.
Yeah, because it's usually only one or two, PJ.
Right.
Well, the Ghost always chooses the other team. So in this case,
But
we have two.
It doesn't matter because
J2K.
Karl and I went against our original predictions, so that means absolutely nothing, Karl.
I'm like you guys. I'm never gonna pick against
Sorry,
the Bears
Dan.
in the game itself.
Eduardo lives in Wisconsin.
This show is over, man.
I'm not even going to get into that. I have zero thought.
Foster has a road buddy now. Look out. Look out. Hey, Eduardo, I'm on my way to pick you up.
I hope you don't have a mustache, Eduardo. At least if you do, it's brown.
Up for some beers, brats, and broads, what I'd like to call Triple B.
I tell you what, Scottish Bear says that he doesn't trust Flus. That's why he's going with the Cardinals this week. I can understand your concern.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I can understand your concern. Uh-oh, got another one. Kids going with the Cardinals.
Kids, is that my fantasy football opponent, buddy?
Yeah.
Your defense scored a lot of points tonight because that shitty league, but whatever.
No.
I got you, kids.
Head roll.
Wow.
It's head roll.
4 people going against the Bears now.
I'm going to use that, Eduardo. I'm going to use that with my hunting friends.
It's the rut season, isn't it, Eduardo?
Eduardo, can you record it?
Is that a Wisconsin beer brought pussy stain on your mustache?
Try and record that and send it to us if you do it.
I've got JTK.
Comes with, hey,
God.
the Cardinals has the worst pass rush in the NFL. Caleb will have a day.
That was my initial thought. PJ, you seem to think that the front five for them would be decent. I think that is a very patchwork, terrible collection of talent.
Honestly, Karl, I'm telling you, I know
points
nothing about them. I'm just looking, and I know zero about them. I know less about them than I did Washington.
I think, quite simply put, and I'm sure I'll have egg on my face, if Caleb can just analyze what Budda Baker is doing, Budda Baker's to the left, throw to the right, whatever you got to do, that should be as simple as it should be. But hey, what do I know?
Yeah.
And guess what? Shane Waldron was asked about this. He is very familiar with the Cardinals. He was in Seattle. So he should be able to diagnose and take care of this. But
I can't rely on that, and you know why.
We never got a chance to talk about how for 3 quarters Caleb Williams did not look good.
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
I got a clip I never got to play. He did not look good.
I'm not trying to dump on Waldron because I heard people dumping on him because I actually like him. But yeah. Some of those calls there. Yeah.
Okay. So PJ,
to the 2 comments Heidi Zimmerman made, that's what she said.
PJ, are you any sort of critical of that bubble screen that they threw to DJ Moore?
Was it Tim Jennings?
4th and 1.
Was it Tim Jennings or was it the other ex-quarterback played for the Bears that was breaking that one down? They said because Washington loaded the box and the cornerback was off of DJ. That's what caused him, because he looked over there to DJ, saw the cornerback was off of him. And by the time he looked back, came back under center and hiked the ball, the cornerback had moved up. So when he then throw it, the cornerback is up, and that's how he made the play. So the read was, okay, it's 4th and 1. DJ's got a cornerback 7 yards off of him. I'm going to throw it out to him real quick. But by the time he then looked forward, hit the hike, the cornerback came up. So I can't fault him for that. I mean, because that's what I say. I love watching those breakdowns of Chase Daniels. That's his name. Chase Daniels, as well as Tim Jennings and JT O'Sullivan. I like because they talking from a quarterback perspective.
Right.
They tell you what the quarterback's reads are. So when I hear these things, to the naked eye, I would have thought, that was a bad play. But now understanding that, that's what he saw, the cornerback being off of him, then he didn't see the cornerback come back on him. So that's why he made the play. So I get it. So I understand more now. So I can't say that it was a bad play.
PJ, just well said. Before that, I just don't want you to think that was the play call. It was a choice. We saw a lot of it with Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams. That was Caleb Williams' choice. He has the authority to make that choice.
Right.
He's the one who chose.
Yeah.
So was it a bad play? Not necessarily, but he's the one who chose it. That's not an indictment on Shane Waldron. It wasn't. But he chose to throw the ball.
2 plays. They give him 2 plays, a running play and a pass play.
And that's why I like Waldron, because this isn't the paint by numbers. We haven't already seen Caleb Williams peak like we have seen with Little Jaden. Little Jaden, in my opinion, has peaked. Caleb has an NFL offense. He's going to learn. He's going to get better.
See, that's where I disagree with you.
Okay,
I don't want to go on a tangent. We're trying to end the show. I'm sorry.
Real quick.
I'm just saying. I'm just throwing jabs. I'm just throwing jabs at Little Jaden. He got the win. I can get my win afterwards.
That's the rookie quarterback growth. That's the rookie quarterback growth. Because it's like okay, so Troy Polamalu would do that to you constantly. He'd be back there.
Troy Polamalu does not play for the Redskins. There's no player that's that smart.
Snap the ball and he'd be sacking you, right? So this is the NFL.
Paulie Walnuts is a Hall of Famer. The Redskins don't have a Hall of Famer on their defense.
That corner made a good play. Okay,
He sure
what makes
did.
him a Hall of Famer is if he makes it all the time, which whatever. But he can make a good play.
This week, during Bears Country podcast production meetings, we were talked to by Karl about adhering to a 2-hour fucking schedule. And I told Karl, we have tried to do this.
No more super chats.
So many times, but it has never worked.
Take care of his back.
And I said, you have got to be the guy as the producer.
Would you like to stroke my pussy, darling?
Who's going to prevent that, or who's going to make that happen? Who's going to make a 2-hour show happen? And as we're going on 3, that is why I'm sitting
I wanted to make a comment about little Jaden and then press the end stream. I'm not opening it up for discussion. I'm giving the final word.
You and Paulie are about to go out for another hour and a half.
In a fucking game show.
Shut the two of you up.
These people are drilled over and over and over and over and over and over. This
That's
is
what she said.
you do this.
Oh my goodness!
I can't.
Please, let's not be rude to our guests.
I just can't.
I can do that very easily.
I can't. I got to give him his due respect.
I'll give you my closing thoughts if we're
Jaden.
actually going to end the show.
I mean,
You know what,
because
Paulie?
you got-
Hold on. Please be a man of the people. Tell us where they can find you.
Oh, youtube.com/@BearskiFilm. If you haven't checked it out, I do a lot of highlight videos, game recap videos, press conference.
The best in the business right now, dude.
We do what we can, and then we also have our weekly show, and and other stuff as well. So youtube.com/@BearskiFilm. We appreciate every view we get. We appreciate every subscriber we get, and we appreciate all you guys as well. My very first podcast was on with you guys, so I always have a spot in my heart for you guys. And I love that you had me back on this year, and I really appreciate it. And the last thing I want to say is, just like in life, people always have ups and downs. There's always rough patches, this and that. We had our ups and downs a little bit, and I just want to let you guys know that I'm a genuine person. I care about people. I love people. I don't judge people by skin color. I don't judge people by their religion. I don't really care. I don't judge people by their sexuality, but I do judge people, and I judge people based off their football fandom. FGB, bear down, go Bears.
Polsky, are you a math major?
By preference, I would have been a math teacher in life, but I know teachers make jack shit, so
it's just a simple equation. FGB, FTP equals on the screen. It's a simple equation.
I had to do that. Anyone that doesn't know his channel, go check out Bearski, man. You're my go-to.
Courtesy of the legendary J2K.
The legendary J2K. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw a wrench in all this. I'm just sitting back here laughing because of the 2-hour show conversation.
We were close. We were about to wrap it
1
up,
hour.
and then you said, let's get into the predictions.
I said,
So we got our closing remarks yet? We there yet?
Oh, I just get mine. I'm done.
PJ, do you want the full screen? I'm ready to end this thing right
No, I mean, I can give my, because I don't want to be accused of, carrying on another conversation. I just want to give my closing remarks.
Please. You know what?
PJ.
Hold on. PJ, the floor is yours, my good sir.
My closing remarks.
God, if I had the right mind to just pull you.
I'm pulling him. PJ, your final word, good sir.
Jaden Daniels showed great poise. He showed. I loved his interview after the game. So I can't crap on him. I remember before the draft how people was talking about Bo Nix not being that guy, and he's currently leading all rookie quarterbacks. So the point I'm getting around to is rookie quarterbacks, we don't exactly.
What was that, Dan?
that me?
I think Mr. PJ got pulled somehow, like fully removed. That's not good. That
What
sucks.
happened?
Well, if you guys are giving me, oh damn it! Oh, no, I'm saying.
All of a sudden, PJ's gone out of the StreamYard.
Don't blame me.
I thought I was typing in chat, but sometimes if the buttons are on the wrong monitor, I start typing and then it pulls up a different screen. But I don't think I probably did that.
Why don't you look at your hotkeys and just remove your hotkeys?
PJ,
Good idea.
Did you guys see J2K's got some stuff that he's working at in the works, and he's really excited.
Is it worth announcing? Like he said, it can't go live yet. So I would like J2K to control how he releases his information. But we're very excited nonetheless to see what the legendary J2K has up.
Informing the listeners that he's got some stuff in the works, and he's really excited to release, but he's got to wait for his channel to go live. So just an update. He put it out there. We put it out there. It's out there. Everybody disappeared on us, Karl.
Comment on the screen.
So I
don't know what's going on. I kind of want to wait for PJ to come back because he was in the middle of something.
Me too. So I picked up Devontae Adams on my fantasy team for $1.
Oh, we're going to talk fantasy? Hold on. Let's get these Joe Schmoes out of here. Let the big guys talk. Let the big guys talk.
It was probably a good pickup, man. What do you think?
Who are you looking to pick up?
I picked up Devontae Adams before the game tonight for $1.
Oh, in your guillotine league.
Guillotine league. He got 22
hour
points. He scored a touchdown.
So, who did?
Devontae Adams, 91 yards.
He got 15 in a non-PPR league. Hey, I got an 82% chance to win my Yahoo league. What about Mr. Tank Dell? Tank Dell did well today. I got 18 points from him. It looks like
I got stuck. I actually let him go.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Hey, I tried to tell the Houston Texans boys that Stephon Diggs was a cancer, but he's gone, and they lost. So I was wrong. Stephon Diggs confirmed, good player. Anyway, PJ, please, if you could, good sir.
Is. We don't know what happened, PJ. Dan did something.
Closing remarks. We'll add everyone to the stage.
Long story short, I just think that the quarterback quarterbacks in this rookie quarterbacks is unpredictable. And I can't say negative things about any of them, even Michael Penix, who haven't even played right now. So I look forward to seeing what the rest of the season unfolds to be for all rookie quarterbacks, because it's high so far because I didn't expect what I've been seeing.
I hate to do this. I wanted PJ's thoughts on Anthony Richardson because over the text conversation he seemed passionate about this. I don't know if we want to delve into it, but
we ain't started another conversation. I know, right?
Okay, so we will be live next Thursday at 8 p.m. Central with special guest Dan Shortino. If you guys haven't heard of him, he may or may not be affiliated with this channel. I don't know.
I wasn't tonight.
It's just jokes. It's just jokes. Please feel free to end the show however you want.
Live on Bearski Films tonight.
No, it looks like per Heidi Zimmerman in chat, she's going to be our guest next week. She was going to come on with us.
Good.
A few months ago, and I had to cancel, but we're looking forward to that. We cannot wait to have Heidi on here. I'm going to try to speak Spanish to her the whole night, see how that goes.
I have to say this. That's not the woman who you said her hair smells good, is it?
It is.
Yes.
Oh, boy. Oh, yikes. I don't know. I'll sit in the background for that one.
And it does.
Shorty.
Carl, you're
upstairs or downstairs?
Tonight.
Shorty.
Leave me alone, man. I'm shell-shocked.
I need a tall boy natty ice right now, Paulski. I don't
trying
know
to
if you
help
want
you
to
out,
throw one
Shorty.
of those over. Can you drop ship one of those for me?
Nope. All mine.
Nope.
Oh, man.
Making a pallet on the floor there, Shorty. Keep on.
Hey, I apologize for accidentally. I don't know. I think I kicked you out of an accident trying to.
Oh, no, you're all right. I mean, I didn't know what happened.
Eddie, I'll go last with the closing thoughts before we go. Who wants
The
to go?
floor is yours, to my understanding. I'm done.
Foster, are you done? You're muted.
Don't ask me, man.
Oh, I'm coming in all tooch.
The second half of the show starts now.
The Bears will score 37 points. Offense will be okay. Defense is going to shut them down. I'll keep it nice and simple because I'm fucking exhausted.
Nothing will
Fair
be
enough.
okay. No, I appreciate you guys so much.
It'll
man. I
all
really
be okay
thank you-
because it
thank you guys
doesn't
so much
fucking
for having
matter.
me on tonight.
No, Paul.
Thank you for your time.
No, we really appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us tonight, man. You've been a good friend of the show. You are a really good guy. I can attest to that. Shit, when I came home to Chicago, you bought me like 3 meals. So it might have even been 4.
I'm just fat, man. I'm just fat. Don't confuse that with me.
Had us over to your house and watched Hard Knocks with you. It was awesome. We had a lot of fun. Foster and I. You're a good dude.
And
So
then Shorty was puking because he ate so much food, Paulie. Like 2 days later, he was puking all over the place.
Oh, shit.
Keep up.
That's real. That's not fake. That's real.
That's real.
I got sick. I did. I missed 2 days of work.
Oh man, I didn't know that. Sorry.
It wasn't from your food though. It was,
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
But you know, were you done, Karl? Did you have your closing thoughts already?
Oh no, we were gonna start with a duplicate show, right? So another 3 hours. We're gonna start with fantasy football. Then we're gonna do this. Then we're gonna do that.
Okay.
Yes, I'm fucking done.
Okay. So I'll close it with this. It's one of the worst heartbreaking losses I've experienced as a Bears fan.
That you predicted.
Since the last Packers loss. Which I guess I did predict at the beginning of the season. But although I had them 4-2 at this point, we're only 5-2. We're only 4-3. That's not that much worse, right? The world is, the sky is not falling because of a 4-3 record when I had him at 5-2 at this point. So
what? No super chats?
I did have him winning the Super Bowl this year. Not going to back down from that as far as my belief in that prediction. Do I feel that it's still going to happen? It's waning. I'm losing confidence in this coaching staff. I'm losing confidence in Eberflus specifically. Samo, you've made a lot of good points tonight. Everyone in chat as well as a lot of other people in chat tonight making great points about this.
Behind Samo.
And you guys on the panel too, but we can't just go firing. We can't just. This is what we do all the time, right? As Bears fans, we immediately go to the overreaction. We want to just fucking get rid of this and blow it up and start all over again. Obviously, we're not going to do that right now. I think the best thing that we can all do is come together as fans, everyone, all of us, men and women that love this team, and just try not to overreact as much as we can for the rest of the season, and let's let the chips fall where they may, and then take it from there. I don't feel good about this week. I don't feel good about this team, this head coach having such a shitty away record. I don't like his game management situations. I don't. It's been a bad week for me as far as being a Bears fan because, like I've said, it just feels like a Packers loss to me. It feels like a Packers loss. It's like we had the damn game in our hands, and then we knew who they were, right?
I would pull you and end the show right now if I could.
And I'll just say this. Thank all you guys for hanging out with us on another Thursday. We know you have a lot better things you could be doing, watching football, Thursday Night Football. Maybe some of you have been while you were hanging out with us, and we appreciate you either way. Guys, everyone in chat, Sam Rush, Scottish Bear, Cliff Victoria, DVD was in here in the beginning, couldn't make it. J2K, Hair Bear, Eduardo, Matt Kedro. I mean, you guys want to keep going with
For the audio listeners, Dan, could you read off the quote of the stream by Cliff Victoria, please?
Cliff Victoria, bad week. My mother-in-law is visiting us for 5 weeks.
Hey, Dan, like I said, somebody's always got it worse off, man.
Goodness gracious.
If I can, Shorty, I'd like to echo what you said as far as guys in the chat. Thank you for your chat. I mean, the words in the chat there, the conversation's going. Thank you guys for all those words there. We sorry we can't get to all of your comments and the responses, but we do see them. So again, thanks for you guys putting it in the chat.
And there are a lot of people from Polly's channel as well who we could see their comments filtering in as well. We appreciate you guys as well. And again, we're really proud to have Polsky on the stream today.
Absolutely. Much love, Polsky. Hair Bear, thank you for your super chat.
Yes.
Scottish Bear, we hope that you are well. We know you're in the hospital. Watching
yes, better.
In the hospital. We hope that you are well, continue to get better. Thank you for hanging out with us once again. It means a lot to us. You staying up as late as you do on the other side of the pond to hang out with us. It really does. And everyone in here in chat. Heidi Zimmerman, she'll be our guest next week. Prometheus.
Larry
T.
T.
Brother from another
Matt Kedro. Vernon Roseman. King Buka World. King
Mr. Mayhem.
Nation. Scottish
Prometheus.
Bear. Tony Moy.
AC App.
There was a Patrick in here who I'm convinced is a Cardinals fan.
There's
Big
a John
shout out
here.
to J2K for being such a huge Bears fan, and helping all these channels out. I mean, he's incredible, awesome dude. His efforts are not going to go unnoticed. He makes all of us look good for sure.
You're right. You're right was here, and yes, J2K, you are the man.
Eduardo.
Isaac Rodriguez. M.
Slick for sophistication.
Mutt Gear. Chips Ahoy.
Greer.
Jack Package.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's not the first time he's been in here. Shorty loves a good
No,
package.
yeah, he's been in here. We like
This
Jack.
Dyslexic Lemons.
Jack a package. I'll say.
What, PJ?
Walt, in the huddle. CB Sickles popped in, man.
Dyslexic Lemons. You didn't see him in there?
I didn't see that one, no.
No.
Dyslexic Lemons.
Yeah.
I gotta see it.
9:15. 9:15.
Stephen
There's
Asadi.
a bunch of new chatters in chat.
Stephen Asadi.
I see Chris Foster just dropped the chat, and now Vincent Lister, America's grief coach. I don't know what's going on here, but welcome to the stream, buddy.
Chris is always around. Chris is in a lot of Bears chats.
That is so funny because we almost, Vincent Lister, America's grief coach, we almost named this show Bears Therapy, Bears Fan Therapy.
Another Cliff Victoria Don Burr situation.
Vincent, you got to come on as a guest.
Yeah. Come and talk us off a ledge.
No prior thought, just you're on. Okay.
These Joe, the Ghost of Judah Tribe.
Yeah, Ghost, man.
Karl, that's my introduction to BCP. I just had a comment that said, "Come on with us." I was like, "Huh?" And it was Foster. He's like, "Oh, we have a show." Like, it's like, what is this guy? So,
that was a whoosh, but okay. If that's how you roll, I can't.
Monster.
If that's how you roll, but
Dave S.
I had time, man. I was talking to everybody and anybody Bears, dude.
PZ and STC hanging out with us tonight.
Fuck Green Bay.
The Naj.
Richard Lopez.
Naj is in here.
My guy, Naj.
Yeah.
Naj is a good guy. Naj is a good guy.
Slick Sophistication. Minister Charles.
So yes, guys, thank you guys.
Tin Pan Dog.
For being here tonight.
Tin Pan Dog.
Honestly, we've said it a million times. We'll say it again. This show goes because of you guys. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with us again tonight. You guys are awesome. We will see you next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully it's after a fucking win. Please. Let's it be after a win.
Go vote. Do your civic responsibility. Go vote.
Get out there and vote. Put my name in. Vote for Mr. Shorty.
What about Hugh?
Have a content week.
I think you guys should vote for Hugh.
Have a content week. Oh God. Have a content week, guys. We'll see you next week.
Have a content week. What the hell is this?
Not too high, not too low.
Go fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
No, get too high. Fuck some shit up.
Oh, should I have to drive back?
Be a man.
I have to drive back to Georgia on Saturday, so I'm going to miss the game. So don't talk to me during the game.
No edibles.
Do not talk to me during the game on Sunday. I'm not going to be able to watch it until 10 o'clock at night.
Please, I'm gonna be texting everything like 5 minutes in advance all day for the game
Trump
on that day.
popular
Just so he
vote.
gets it.
I was
Make
wondering.
sure you
I
guys
thought you
set
said
your
you're driving
phones
back
off.
Saturday. It's like it takes you how long to get back?
I'm not going to. I have too much shit to get finished up
He's
on
Polish
Saturday.
Italian. I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Shorty,
Paul,
I lost the line.
gotta-
What's that stain on his mustache? A bratwurst?
It's a beer
Not
brat
a Polish,
pussy stain.
but a bratwurst.
It's a beer brat pussy stain mustache.
Beer
right
brat, that's what it was.
Hugh Janus ski on mine.
I'm good, man, because it'll stick with you when you go live. I don't want to be responsible for that.
I'm
But
gonna
these
get
guys,
Mo Lester.
whatever.
He's here
As
somewhere.
if I have standards.
As Guy says, molester. Can I run the outro? Are we done?
Yeah. Bearski, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thanks, Paulie.
Appreciate you.
Al, Siege.
We'll see you guys
Janus.
next week, next Thursday,
Oh,
9 p.m.
cool.
Eastern Time, with Heidi Zimmerman from Acapulco, Mexico. Will be our guest.
Ooh.
Nice.
Her hair smells so good, you'll be able to smell it through the television.
Which one, upstairs or downstairs? All right, 3, 2, 1,
Upstairs,
go.
upstairs.
I want to end the stream now. Quick, we gotta go.
1, 2, 3. Bears
Down.
Bears.
Bears.